Come on, guys. Come on. Let's go. We've got an episode. Move it, move it, move it to Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today we got the machine punter mummer in the house. We got the mayor in session and an appointment with Dr. Madela. Let's go. Also, it smells like sneakers in here. That must mean that Mel Vandy's over there at the kids' table.
Smells like dirty sneakers in here.
You know, I used to work at a restaurant. I'd go home smelling like grease. Do you just smell like Nikes everywhere you go? You're probably nose blind to it by now.
I love the smell of Nikes in the morning.
Perfect.
Smells like profits.
Just smelling like rubber
and
all the time.
Sweatshop.
That's right. No reason. So, guys, we're talking about Police Academy today.
Yes.
And, you know, Mel, I know this is your favorite movie of all time, man. And if I had known when I scheduled this it was going to be it, you wouldn't be at the kids' table. But I'm glad you could be here in the room at least.
I'm here. I had to be here for this.
There's no way you were missing out on Police Academy.
No, this is a big part of my life.
Perfect.
The movie was?
The movie, the experience.
All of that.
This brought me back to my years at the Shoe Academy.
Shoe Academy? There's a thing?
I always let anybody in.
Absolutely.
They line people up.
Here's how you tie your shoes.
They
These are
practice
Velcro.
pulling the tongue back and seeing how fast you could just get it on.
Hey, have you ever tried to measure while on the fly?
Dude, and with those things, I feel like you need a training course to use those feet measuring things. They got it.
Yeah, that or the shoehorns. I don't know what that thing
Your
is.
tactical shoehorn where
Yeah,
you're just...
a tactical shoehorn.
They teach you how to
It's got
tune
a
it.
bottle opener on the other side.
I'm a grown man. I still don't know how to use the measure things.
Nobody does.
No, they don't.
No.
No, we just wing it.
That's what makes you a
Wing
step
it.
above everybody else. You know what I'm
Solving
saying?
problems every day.
So if you ever thought Mel was just a regular old shoe salesman, no, he actually knows how to use the feet measurer thing.
He actually has a
And-
Swiss Army knife with a shoehorn on it.
Right.
And I'm qualified to sell tactical boots.
There you go.
Oh,
Well,
That's the thing.
And you do it tactfully.
No.
speaking of tack, you have a nickname that's born out of this movie.
I do.
And for as long as I've known you, I won't give out the whole thing, but tack has been part of your email address.
It has.
And it's been an online handle for you?
Forever. Since the first couple weeks in Shoe Academy, in fact.
All right.
Because I asked guns, when do we get guns?
It's Shoe Academy, but you still thought you should be armed.
Absolutely.
Right. That's reason.
Well,
that's
I mean,
reasonable.
those Nikes, those new Jordans, you gotta protect them, you know? I mean, people want them.
No, I mean, people back then, when you started, remember they were getting robbed for their shoes.
Absolutely.
That was a thing.
That and Tickle Me Elmos.
Seriously. You had to go. Toys R Us had its own academy also, except they actually got guns and assault rifles and all that stuff.
That's
because
true. Yep.
Cabbage Patch Kids, Tickle Me Elmos, all that stuff.
so when you were at the Shoe Academy, were they like, you will have live ammo, but you should not use it?
Every day.
Exactly. Well, guys, I'm excited to dive into this. This was voted on by our patrons, so they had a selection of films to pull from,
You chose wisely.
and and Mel is very happy that this is the one that we're doing.
They did get another one right.
It
I mean,
narrowly
they're 2 for 2 after Rubber here.
it
so
narrowly beat out Sudden Death, which was a Jean-Claude Van Damme,
that would have been another great option.
by 1 or 2 votes.
Yeah, it was close.
But today we're going to dive straight into this. So let's get the vitals out of the way. The movie was directed by Hugh Wilson and written also by Hugh Wilson. I think this was the only, or not the only, did Hugh Wilson come back for the 4th one?
I think it was either 3 or 4.
Yeah, because I know he didn't do the second one for sure, and then they bounced around between directors a little bit. Movie was written by Neil Israel, Pat Proft, and Hugh Wilson, like I said, also jumped in and helped with the screenplay. The film stars a lot of people. This is an ensemble cast. Steve Guttenberg, G.W. Bailey, Kim Cattrall, Bubba Smith. I can't name them all here in the vitals, but as we go through the movie, we'll definitely touch on everybody. But this is a big, big cast, which with a budget of only $4.5 million makes me think that everybody got paid about
decent amount?
About $350.
Oh, true.
A decent amount. That's like, I mean, that's a pretty small budget for a major Hollywood release, $4.5 million. And,
Even in 1984.
yeah, and I don't know anybody. Gutenberg certainly wasn't commanding a huge salary. I don't think at this point. But the box office, man. Okay, for a $4.5 million budget, This thing brought in $150 million.
Wow.
Wow.
Million.
Wait,
Yes.
why are we doing that?
Well, they aren't all box office bombs. It only has to check one of the boxes
Okay.
for a qualifier.
All right.
Not all of them. So the movie, here's another box it doesn't check, is a 6.7 on IMDb. So it's over our normal threshold on IMDb. Its audience score is 64% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's fresh. The one and only thing that makes it eligible for Bad Movies Rule is that the critics have it at a rotten score. The critics have said this is a bad movie.
Okay.
It's a 57%. So it's 3% under the threshold for where it would be considered a good rating. So you think, you can be pissed off that the critics said this movie was bad if you want to, but because they did, we're allowed to talk about it on the show.
Might as well thank them too while you're at it.
So
Thank
thanks.
you, ass clowns.
By next week, it could be, one or two reviews probably will send this thing
Yeah,
into
it's-
fresh.
yeah,
and, who knows what'll happen. But at this moment in time, we are allowed to do it. So I don't want any mail, okay?
People are coming after you.
Yeah,
They're coming after us.
They're going to come
get
after
mail
Don't talk to
anyway.
us.
I'm not
Everyone
doing
just
good movies
shut up and
anymore.
listen.
No more good movies.
You know it's coming. Why are you guys ripping on Police Academy?
Bro, this is coming off the heels of just getting lit up about Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, I just saw your text about that.
so
I haven't gotten a
raw.
chance to look at it.
Oh, dude.
We're so what?
They're
You're so rot. You're completely rot about this.
It's beauty of subjective art, right? And I think I literally said anything like, if you like it, like it. It's all good. But it sucks. People can't, which is fine. I don't mind. I knew it was coming and I love it. And this is going to be just another one of those, right? People are going to be
Yep.
pissed off that it's even on the show. But look, we got to do this one to get to the rest. And if we're going to run through all 7 Police Academy movies, the rest of them are way, way lower
Yeah, the
rated.
rest qualify, no problem.
I'm so happy to be on this and Tremors.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Got 7 movies each.
With 7 movies, I don't know if will keep the same through the entire thing.
I
so
might be
we'll
in the
see.
Tremors rotation. I was on the last
That's
one.
right. See, we had to start swapping out of Tremors
you
already,
gotta
even
start
after
swapping.
2.
Yeah.
So
we'll
2,
see. 5, 6,
Joe
7.
quit. He was like, I'm out.
It's like, I'm done after the first one. I'm out. Forget it.
So Mel, you're saying 2, 5, 6, and 7 are not worth doing?
They're the ones that definitely qualify. 3 and 4,
Which was the one where they went to Miami?
5.
Okay, that was the one I think was the first one I ever saw, and I regretted it immediately. Look, one thing you will not regret immediately is joining our email list. And so if you haven't done that yet, head over to badmoviesrule.com. Sign up for our email list. We send out a newsletter every month, talks about upcoming episodes. You'll find out sooner what's coming up next. You get all kinds of inside information. We've been spotlighting different hosts on the show on there. Also, merch discounts we'll throw through there. And ultimately, you'll be on the cutting edge of BMR, meaning you'll know stuff before it kind of gets announced through the show or to the masses. So join if you haven't already. Badmoviesrule.com. Scroll down to the bottom. You can sign up there for our newsletter. And if you want to send us email, that's about the receiving side. You can, anytime you want, reach out to the show. Our show is very interactive. We have listeners that participate in the award section. We have a mailbag segment that we do every so often, and we want to interact with you guys. So send us anything you've got as far as feedback. Tell us why we're idiots for not liking Napoleon Dynamite. I mean, not Ryan. He loved it, but, me specifically. Anything that we say stupid on this show. I mean, Kurt and Madeline are here, so who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
true.
Email us about that.
Puns. Nothing but
Right.
puns.
And really, any kind of feedback or questions or anything, it's thisshowIstrash@gmail.com. We're well aware of the quality of what we're putting out here, and it's thisshowIstrash@gmail.com.
We're honest about what we are.
Yeah. And that's fine. And you know what? The internet's opinion is reflective of that. I'm good with it.
You know, I got to say, Mueller did a great job dressing up as Napoleon Dynamite. by
Yeah,
the
he
way.
looked good.
From a guy who's really good at dressing up too and putting on disguises. He looked really fantastic.
It's pretty sweet.
Lucky.
I caught you delicious bass, James.
Oh, please keep it and don't ever show it to me again.
We topped it off with some pickles.
Enough. I hate pickles. All right. I've got something I want to get out of the way before. We would just dive straight into the plot. And for those of you that are new to the show, we are going to go through the movie scene by scene, and we'll talk through the whole thing. We'll have some fun with it. Again, it's okay to have fun with the movies, even if you love them. There's always ridiculous things that we can talk about. And at the end, we're going to give out some awards. Who was the best? Who was the worst? Who are our favorite performers in this? And ultimately, is it a good movie, a bad movie, or a bad movie that rules? We'll talk through all of that today. But there is one piece of information I think would be best to lay out right at the beginning, because the movie does start with a text screen, which we always love, right?
Oh, yeah.
Here's some exposition.
Yeah, love it.
We don't want to have to figure out how to work organically into the plot. So we're just going to tell you right off the bat.
It's a Star Wars motif.
And I appreciate it because it kept it to an hour and a half movie.
Yeah, give me 90 minutes. We love it. This is based on a true story, this movie.
Sadly, yes.
Okay. The producer got the idea for this movie, and the text screen at the beginning basically says, how would you sum it up in short order, Mel? That we had to open our hiring practices to just anybody that wants to be a cop, basically.
Pretty much. It doesn't matter if you're fat, slow, dumb. Come apply.
They just shoot you right in there.
Welcome to the police. Yeah, like they put woman in there with all that other stuff, right?
Right.
If you're an idiot, dumb, slow, fat, or a girl.
Or if you're black, I mean, they really leaned into that too.
Did. So apparently the producer, Paul was it Maslansky? That's hard to say. We'll just say Paul. Paul got the idea for the movie when he was doing the production for The Right Stuff. It says a group of police cadets arrived to help with crowd control during that movie for the filming of a street scene. And when the cadets piled out of the buses to take their posts, they were diverse. There were men, women, they were tall, short, black, Asian. However, the cadets proved, this is his quote, fumblingly inept. I can speak. Inept at their assigned task of keeping members of the public away from the set. And so he witnessed an exasperated superior officer with a very red face, chewing out two sputtering recruits, a lady weighing over 200 pounds, and a flabby man of well over 50 years old. Both were busily trying to rationalize their incompetence. This guy found it obviously hilarious and asked the sergeant, are these all going to be future San Francisco finest? And the sergeant told him that they had an equal opportunity hiring policy. Quote, we have to take anyone who applies for training, but we can flunk them out in 2 weeks. And so it started him thinking, what if they couldn't be, or what if they didn't want to be flunked out? What if some guy or girl wants to stay in? And that night he wrote a 2-page treatment and sent it over, and that's how Police Academy was born. So he literally watched this unfold in front of him.
Wow.
These two bumbling idiots that shouldn't have been police officers rationalizing why they sucked at it. And the guy was like, are these guys going to be cops? And like, yeah, we have to take everybody.
As long as they don't quit.
So I thought this was just like hey, we're going to make a stupid comedy, and this is our dumb reason for doing it.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But it legitimately happened. San Francisco's finest, people.
I think that explains why this movie isn't funny.
Wait a second. You don't think this movie's funny? We haven't even started yet.
Is it a comedy?
It is a comedy.
Is it though?
Oh, you probably should have sat on this other side so you're not close to Mel.
Here we go
idiots.
again.
Speaking of idiots.
All right. Pipe down.
Keanu, we've got The Last Starfighter, and now he's lacing into Police Academy.
Well, let's get into it. We'll just see.
Coming from the kids'
Let's
table.
do it. Let's do it. The movie starts off, and maybe the first 15 minutes are all just introduction scenes, right? Here's this character. Here's this character. We're going to follow. And you know what? I'm just going to say it right now. It's very similar to Napoleon Dynamite, in which people got pissed about this, is that there is not really a plot to the movie. It's a structure. Think of it as a situation comedy. The situation is idiots in the police academy, and from that situation, we will mine it for as much comedy as we can, and that's fine.
I'm glad you said that because that was exactly my thought. Okay, this is another one of those, and then right? We're just jumping here to here to here to. Now they're running through an obstacle course. Now Harris is yelling at Mahoney. Now so.
Yes, I will say it's slightly more coherent. That it doesn't jump around quite as badly as Napoleon. At least there's a through line of like. The higher ups are trying to weed these people out, and so there's a little bit of a story that goes through, but it's really just here's the setup. Let's do some comedy.
Right.
Well, and I feel like it's just a very it's a character-driven movie, which most comedies are, and there's a lot of good ones out there. I mean, Caddyshack's one that comes to mind right away.
Yeah.
That's an old one.
Yeah.
Where it's just a bunch of crazy characters all together doing something, going from one plot point to the next.
You know what's very similar to this is we talked about Major Payne.
Yeah, that's another great one.
Payne was just like, here's a situation. Wouldn't it be funny if? And then they just mined it for as much comedy as they could.
Well, almost every Adam Sandler movie, it's Will Ferrell. They're just character-driven movies.
Right. What if somebody had to go through school again?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So that's all this is. And that's not a criticism. That's not a criticism.
No.
Okay, it's just it's just the way they structured the movie.
And it works in a lot of cases. So it's not a bad thing.
All right.
Yeah, it's
Arm
just
yourself
a
with
basic
flip-flops and
comedy
start
recipe.
Right.
I'm ready.
All right. Ryan's going to have to defend his position today.
I wore flip flops.
Perfect. Then just get ready to fire, buddy.
Well worn that hit you in the face.
The first person that gets introduced is Mel's favorite character. That's a guess, Mel. You tell me if I'm wrong. Tackleberry.
Tackleberry.
This psychotic security guard
Yes.
from this building. What an intro. The dark, stormy night, the
Yes.
lightning creeping through the hallways.
Yeah, you make it basically leads you to believe that somebody's breaking into the building that he's guarding.
Right.
Right.
But really, what we find out is it's just this psychotic security guard spends his nights terrorizing executives.
Yes,
Right.
but then they're throwing him like a going away party,
Right.
You know,
and he opens fire on him.
We're glad you're going, party.
Yeah.
that executive looked terrified.
Oh,
did, absolutely.
Which
terrifying.
makes me wonder how many people has he shot?
He was
In the
trying
middle
to-
of the night,
Right.
just,
Well,
where are you
trying to
going?
sneak out before he got spotted by Tackleberry because it probably wasn't his first run-in late
Right.
working late at night.
He even like asked for permission to go. He's like, "Can I go now?"
Right. They probably threw a party. I mean, I know there was a party in the break room.
Right.
But they probably threw their own separate party that he was leaving.
After
Right.
the funeral for the 6 people he shot.
That'll happen.
He creeps through the hallway and he sees footsteps kind of under. There's like light on underneath the door.
Yeah.
Right.
And he thinks there's people breaking in, and so he kicks open the door. And you know, talk about people that shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah, this is him. Yeah.
No, he shoots first, asks never.
Never.
Right.
Never.
No
Like, that's
questions.
just opens fire before the lights even come on. But it turns out it's a surprise party, but it's the break room.
Right.
What was he worried about getting stolen in the break room? Some tuna
Right.
fish sandwiches?
Yeah.
Someone was getting into his yogurt.
Hey, his name was on his lunch, and he told them never again.
Dude, having worked in corporate America before, that is a real thing. I remember
It
very
is.
passive aggressive notes being left on refrigerators.
Yep.
If somebody keeps eating my sandwiches, I'm gonna kill you.
I rubbed this one on my taint.
No.
Oh, we've got they have a lab down at our
Below
headquarter
us?
building at work, and we have had people that label like this is for like lab testing
sure.
to like
Yeah.
mess with, so people won't touch
Filet
their stuff.
mignon.
Seriously,
Yeah.
Someone brought in
I just put a
filet.
mousetrap in mine.
There's a somebody tries to eat your peanut butter sandwich and just snap. Hopefully you never forget that that's in there.
I have.
Every day.
Quit bringing in your stinky fish.
The fact that everyone can relate to this lunch stealing at work thing means it's just like it's a pervasive issue with humans.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
The first time I did it, I put it inside the sandwich, and
know
that was
what?
a rough lunch.
Bring in your own good tasting lunch. Don't
Seriously.
take anybody else.
Yeah,
Is that-
who are these
cook
people?
better.
Who are these people? I would never even
people that don't know how to cook.
I would
want-
never even think to take someone.
Do you want to hear
No.
something really disturbing?
Yes.
I brought a half-eaten burger back from lunch one time, left it in overnight, went to go eat it the next day, it was gone. Someone ate my burger that I had already eaten. It wasn't cut. It was clearly taken bites
There's a
out of
very
it.
thin
up.
slice left of where you ate
right?
from.
You're like, y'all are
So
nasty.
basically, we're answering our own question as to why Tackleberry opened fire on these
Yes,
people.
Right.
exactly.
It makes sense now.
It's what everyone else, this is what the audience wanted. I
guess you're
Please
right.
shoot someone.
I guess what we're learning, Kurt, is that Tackleberry is not psychotic. after
No.
all. It's the
It's
people.
the people.
I
They
understand.
deserve it. Eat
I might not
people's
agree,
lunches.
but I understand.
You just don't do that.
Then we meet Mahoney, played by Steve Guttenberg, and he works at a parking lot. And a guy comes in a toupee and is very mean to him.
Yeah,
White
Really?
Trans Am.
yeah, and a sweet
Yeah, the guy
mustache.
that he looked like a Trans Am driver, didn't he?
He absolutely did
Okay,
look like a Trans Am
But this
driver.
guy wasn't that. I mean, he's a dick, but not that whatever. Like,
I know,
freaking Mahoney's like, what?
but wait, yeah, he thought he was being very funny.
Yeah.
he's like, "Whoa, it's a alert, ladies!" I'm like, he's ruining this chance. He's ruining this guy's chance to get picked up by a girl in a parking lot.
Right.
Like there's all these chicks walking around or something. He's like,
Right.
"Oh,
'Cause-
ladies, there's a wig on his head."
Yeah, the toupee wouldn't do that already. He's got to
Right.
Or
point
the
it out.
plaid sport coat.
Stop!
Right.
I get all my chicks from parking lots. Stop saying that out loud.
I'm really starting to feel more down
that
here.
guy's
You guys
out
are
there
really,
looking around. He's like, any lot lizards out here?
It's like talking about my nightstand all over again. Jeez.
What, do you pick up chicks in parking lots? Is that
Yes. How I met my wife.
thing.
She wasn't old enough to get in the bar.
She just hung out in the parking lot.
Yeah,
Just in a parking lot somewhere.
Like I was
Waiting
just
for-
about to walk in. Are you able to go in with me? No? All
All
right.
right, I guess I'm talking to you in the parking lot.
Want to take a walk? Here we go.
Yeah, and so the boss comes over. He's mad that Mahoney's being a jerk to. He's like, "This is my best parking lot customer.
Yeah.
Right.
He pays me $5.
You parked this.
Right, park." I'm like, dude, it's a parking lot. There's no best customers.
Right.
Somebody else will park their car here.
I did enjoy. There was a 1977 Ford Pinto green wagon.
I didn't see it. There
It was right in between Guttenberg and the guy as they were arguing.
He didn't crash into it though.
No,
did he?
no, no.
Crash into that one.
I was like,
No.
you would have.
He would have blew up.
I would have had to have like comforted you.
Yes.
Like you'd
I
have
was almost sad. I was like,
get a
is this-
counselor for Kurt.
I was like, oh, Pinto alert.
Mahoney wouldn't have been going
Wrote
to
that
police
right down on my
academy.
notes.
So he drives this Trans Am sideways in between two cars, basically. Like
Yeah,
a
just
bit of
parks
an
it.
overreaction,
Yeah.
maybe.
This is a good park job, though. He told him there wasn't any space. He found him a space.
He did. Technically,
He parked it.
he parked it.
He parked.
Yeah.
He did what he was asked. He parked his car.
So he ends up getting arrested. Then we meet Leslie Barbara.
Yes.
Yes.
The photographer guy in
Works-
the booth.
Yeah.
I've never. Those used to be things where people would go get
Yeah.
pictures developed. Like you couldn't just spit
In the middle of the
pictures out.
Kmart parking lot.
Right
big,
there.
Big photo booth. Yeah.
And so it's shaped like a camera. And my question is,
How does it float?
there's like gang of
was my
degenerates.
question.
There's that too. But this gang of degenerates come by and basically knock down and take the photo
taunt
booth
him,
with
yeah.
Leslie in it. And my question is, how much time do these freaking degenerates have on their hands?
Right.
Like, I just picture these five guys sitting around. Go, what do you want to do? Should we dump the photo booth guy in the river?
Right.
Oh, he did
You know
that.
what'd be really funny though is if it'd be really funny if we actually took the camera that he's in with him in it and then dump him in.
What do you think? Should we just throw Leslie off a bridge? I'm bored.
Let's murder someone today.
What did we do with the one at the Target photo booth? We threw that one off.
It's like whenever you try to move furniture, it takes way longer than you estimate. You're always like, it's going to take like an hour. It's literally like 4 hours. This would have been like a 4 or 5 hour job for them to
That's
get
what
it.
I'm saying.
And what
And
is
he
did it
stayed
in 2
inside.
minutes.
And he
this
stays
was
in
like
the
a
camera the whole time.
porta
Nice.
potty thing. I mean, they
Right.
just lifted up. There was no electrical connections, no
Right.
plumbing, no nothing. Oh,
It
we're just
seems
going to
so
lift this up.
random
Yeah.
It's very random.
that these guys did this. Like, this is how they entertain.
The only
And I feel bad for that guy because you just brought up the point. And from a plumbing aspect, was there any plumbing out there? I mean, obviously not.
just had a
They were able to
bucket.
just a bucket and that
he's had a
dumped.
big
But if
one
he
when
was, were they developing
when they-
there? 'Cause
yeah.
you would need like the sinks and stuff,
Right.
For
Yeah, you would
chemicals
think.
and
I think
it was
wash
just
it.
pick
Unless
up.
he just
It
it's
could have
just
been,
pick
yeah.
up.
Even still,
Have we
where's the
gone too
electrical
far? Are we in the
connections?
weeds?
No,
too much
I
on
don't
this
think
one?
so.
All
I
right.
think
feel
this
like-
is important. I think we got to know what Leslie's whole day to day is.
If you know about 1984 photo photography development, please write the show.
Yeah, this show is trash at gmail.com. That'd be great.
I feel like they literally were just like, how do we get him to tell you that he's going to the academy?
Yeah,
and then
right,
they
yeah.
came up with this whole bit.
We throw him off a bridge.
We make this guy a lowlife.
Oh yeah, that'll show him.
That'll show him. And so, yeah, he turns around and screams as he's floating down the river towards.
I'll get you guys
Yeah.
I
one
don't know,
day.
probably
Exactly.
Lake Ontario or something. I don't know.
I think they shot this in Toronto.
They
so
did,
he's like
yeah.
sailing to America, and he's like, I'm joining the police
He's
academy.
sailing to America in a photo booth.
The
Eddie
next,
Murphy's in there with him.
the next future cop we see is Fackler and his clingy wife.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And she's an old Olympian dismount. I mean, she's
Yeah. She
was doing the
backflipping
hurdles,
and
the
Yeah.
swimming.
triathlon.
She's a decathlete.
Yeah.
Thank you.
decathlete.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not a looker, but she's probably flexible.
She was. We saw she was a proficient diver, swimmer,
Yeah.
biker, jumper,
Yep.
clinger.
She's
stage level 10 clinger.
Hanging onto that hood. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I
so
will.
he-
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, you can go ahead.
I was just
can
saying.
set it up.
No, I was just saying he's pulling out of the driveway to go. I'm going to drive. I'm driving to the police academy. I'm going to become a cop. Well, which we learn about him, he's very clumsy. So he inadvertently like hits her with the suitcase and knocks
Right.
her over a couple times.
He pulls a condor man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then tries to get away, and she dives on the hood basically
Right.
to say you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's also very controlling.
I was just gonna say, I think the physical comedy here like worked. You know, he
Yeah. That
hits
was
her with
funny.
the suitcase,
Yeah.
hits her with the car door,
No,
she's flying on the top of the car.
she's great. I think she's dead because we never see her after she flies back off the
That's
hood.
true.
And I think her rotting corpse just sat in that courtyard for.
How fast was he going coming into the parking lot to park? Like, for her to go flying. I mean, I've forgotten coffee on my roof before, but it just slides off.
He drove down the highway and the whole way to the academy with her on the hood.
And didn't notice her.
I would join the police academy. I'd drive off a bridge to get away from this woman.
Maybe he could have had them guys come and throw him off the bridge.
Exactly. Fake my own death just so I can get away. Good Lord. We also see Karen Thompson. This is played by
Kim Cattrall.
Thank you. I was like, does anybody know?
I was waiting for music. Sorry.
No, I
thought we had a sound effect coming in. Here.
Yeah, so did I.
Kim Cattrall, first time back since Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes.
China.
Yeah.
This was 2 years before that. In fact, she had only done one big movie before this. She did Porky's in 81. That was
Never seen it.
No, never seen it.
never.
It's like your typical sex comedy from the 80s, screwball kind of a thing.
Like Nerds?
Kind of, yeah. And so that was 1981. From like 82, 83, she just did like 2 or 3 episodes of TV here and there. And so it was 3 years, 1984, until she did another movie, which was Police Academy. It's only her second movie ever.
So I just want to go out and say that
Yeah.
I had an ex that I'm not trying to pull a Charles story here.
I want to hear your Charles, your Chuck Tales.
So my
Chuck Tales. Woohoo!
So I had an ex that watched Sex and the City. So this was all I knew her from.
Yeah.
Not knowing until we rewatched Big Trouble in Little China that was her.
Oh.
Okay.
So I'm telling you right now, I've got a 1984 crush on Kim Cattrall. I am like, man, she
love Lassie.
was hot. Both those
she
movies.
was adorable.
Fantastic.
Yeah. No,
makes me want to go back and watch other movies she's been in.
Well, Mannequin, was on the poll one time.
Yeah, I've
didn't
never
win.
seen that.
But Mannequin, she plays a
another
mannequin, which fits her acting ability, I think. And it was really, she was kind of typecast.
It was very plastic.
She was typecast.
Yeah.
She was like, who's the most wooden? Kim Cattrall, that'd be great.
I want to be a real boy.
So she's this rich girl. She's driving in like what seems like a limousine
Limo, yeah.
to the police academy with her mother, with the rich girl petting the cat and the whole all the
And then actually the
time.
guy with his wife on the
big time trope. Yeah.
and then the guy with the wife on his hood
Passes
driving
by. They don't
passes
even
by.
they don't even look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And we find out she's joining the force for one reason we find out now, one we find out later, but it was to basically this rich girl is joining the force because she wants to meet some weirdos
Right.
Yep.
and she likes to dress like a man.
So do I.
I also do. Should I be a cop?
Yeah, I
We
think
could be
so.
cops.
That'd be great.
You got a great beard and mustache.
Let's
for it.
be cops.
Let's do it.
Isn't that a movie?
It should be.
It is a movie.
Yeah, thank you. I haven't seen it yet, but Damon Wayans' kid is in that with the guy that plays Nick Miller on New Girl too.
Oh.
I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, all right. So
And it's actually called Let's Be Cops.
it's called Let's Be Cops. So they steal uniforms in a police car, and it's a comedy called Let's Be Cops. I've never seen it.
I should watch it.
All right. So then Mahoney gets hauled into the police station because of his stunt at the parking lot, and he meets Motormouth Jones in basically the seating area.
The
where they've got-
Spaceballs guy.
Yeah, they've got the people lined up, basically waiting to get arraigned or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Processed.
And he goes in to meet with this police officer. Mahoney does. And the guy's like a cop from the 1800s. Did anybody else think
And
that?
his handlebar mustache.
Handlebar mustache,
He had
suspenders.
He had the tombstone. He had the chain with the watch that
Yep.
goes
Yeah.
across his vest.
Well, I do declare.
Seriously. Like, who is this
Just
guy?
Why,
Stepper.
Mr. Mahoney, I do declare, I believe you are in big trouble, mister.
That's right.
Stepped right out of the old west.
There will be a reckoning for your trespasses.
And he basically says, I'm tired of bailing you out of trouble.
Right.
Either you're going to jail or you can join the police academy.
And he was like friends with his father or something like that.
Right,
I
that's
think
why
there
he
was some
looks
sort
out
of-
for him or
yeah.
whatever.
Hey, that's a trope even. If it wasn't for your father.
That's right.
His dad was his partner at one point.
Yeah, there you go.
there you go.
Okay.
And then he gave him a sad story about how his dad died and he was there for the whole thing. And he's like, no.
And he joins
Oh,
up.
no, wait. That was Tom Arnold.
That was Tom Arnold. Yeah.
How progressive, though.
Well, some smashing acting.
Smash.
And so Mahoney decides to join the force. But he does say that he can't go without the guy he literally met 1 minute ago.
Because
out
he's his doctor.
in the hallway because it's his doctor and his best friend or whatever. Now, if it seems random,
It is.
it is. Because apparently the whole script was done and the movie was about to be shot, and Motormouth was not part of it at all.
Oh.
And it wasn't until one of the producers saw him open up in a comedy shop for another comedian,
Right.
that this producer pulled their stupid producer card, like, "Oh, we got to put this guy in the movie. He's funny. He makes noises."
That really tracks because every scene this guy is just him going, and it's like he's great, but he doesn't fit in what they're doing.
Yes, no knock on the guy. He's awesome.
He's awesome,
but he serves no purpose in this movie. And every scene he's in, he doesn't impact or affect the scene at all.
There's only one scene that does.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, he's just there to make noises.
Right.
Now, in future police academies, he was written into the script from the beginning and his character develops, and he's great. I love the guy. But this first one, the reason he wasn't even in the script, they just stick him in there to make noises. That's
They
why.
just put him in there to beep boop.
It'd be like somebody just being like, sheepdog.
Right. So if his inclusion throughout the movie, I'm only letting you guys know why that it might have seemed that way, that he had nothing to do or barely anything ever to say other than making noises, is because he literally had nothing.
So was this his first movie then before Spaceballs? Because Spaceballs was what, 87?
I didn't go back and look at his filmography to see if he had done anything. As a comedian, he might have
this was 84, so
done the odd thing, but this is probably his first big studio movie.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Sure.
Okay.
And he got a lot of fame and acclaim from this, and went on to do pretty much, I think, every other Police Academy movie after this.
Yeah, I think it was in every other one.
Spaceballs and other things, and had a stand-up career and all that.
You can't even knock him for this movie because he's doing what they told him to do.
No, it's the stupid producer that at the last minute, who I'm sure Hugh Wilson and the writers were like thrilled to be like, oh, just make this other character fit in your movie somehow.
Yeah. Just do your beep boops. We'll record.
Yeah, great.
Probably what they told him.
Seriously.
So he actually started in 1980 in a Cheech and Chong movie.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
Awesome. I'm sure when those guys back then, when you're on the comedy circuit, you knew a lot of the same guys, and you would end up getting stuck in things and side parts and stuff. So it's okay. So outside of a Cheech and Chong movie, this was his first big studio comedy. The chief. So we get to basically now we're finally getting to the academy itself, and the chief pulls up, and we only see the chief a couple times in the whole movie. Mel, do you remember what the guy's name even was? Chief something? I don't remember.
Chief Suck.
Chief Sucker.
Which one? The one that actually told
the chief?
No, there's Lassard, who's the commandant of the thing, and then there's Lieutenant Harris, and those are the guys that are throughout the whole movie.
You're talking about the other white-haired guy that was coming in, and he was kind of being a real jerk.
Yeah, like their boss just showed up at the beginning and the very end of the movie.
Yeah, I do remember that. I don't remember his name.
That's him. And so he comes in, Chief Hurts, to basically set up the plot, which is that he's pissed off with these new hiring policies. The lady mayor is making us hire all of these idiots, and we got to do whatever we can do to wash them out, basically, to make them quit, because we can't just kick them out.
I remember when it was nothing but Johnsons.
Yeah.
As far as the eye could see.
It was beautiful, sir.
That's his whole character's thing, is he just like, man, I miss all those dicks being around everywhere.
Those private eyes.
Remember that?
Yeah.
When everywhere you looked, there was just dongs, Johnsons
and
everywhere. and Lieutenant Harris.
I had to beat him off left and right.
I was beating them off one by one.
Lieutenant Harris is just standing there, and even he's like a little bit confused about why are we talking about dicks so much.
Yeah.
It's funny how things are cyclical. About every 20 years, this happens.
But ultimately, the chief gives Lassard, the commandant, and Lieutenant Harris, who will be the guy that actually kind of
trains them,
is the drill sergeant. I know they're not literally a drill sergeant, but effectively for this movie, the drill sergeant. The chief gives them their marching orders to get rid of as many of these idiots as they can.
What's the deal with Lassard, too?
Lassard is a moron. This guy, now, the character is. I love the actor.
Right.
He's one of only 3 actors that were in every Police Academy movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Lassard. Tackleberry is the other one, and is it who's the? I don't know who the third one is. Is it Jones? Is it Motormouth?
I think it was.
Motormouth? Okay, we're the only ones that were in all 3 of them. He is great, and I'm going to say something that might annoy people because this guy is beloved by Police Academy fans because he was in every single stinking movie. They wrote this part for Leslie Nielsen, and it would have been 1,000,000 times better if Leslie Nielsen had been the commandant in Police Academy.
I agree.
That makes a lot of sense because I got like low key Leslie Nielsen vibes.
Yeah.
Yep. He's kind of sounded like Frank Drebin.
Yeah.
It would have been now, Mel, I'm sure you love this guy, and I'm not knocking the actor.
I got it.
He got hired to do a job, and he did
a phenomenal job.
He did a great job. But could you imagine if it had been Leslie Nielsen?
I would have been even more.
Yeah.
Dude, this would have elevated the whole thing to be. I probably would own all 7 movies if it was Leslie Nielsen.
I own all 7 movies.
You'd own them. Yeah, but you'd own them even harder.
Yeah, I'd own them so hard.
You've got 14 slots on your video shelf dedicated to Tremors and Police Academy.
They're right next to each other.
14 slots.
14
I
slots.
love it.
I actually have 2. Only because it's a box set.
Well, they're okay. Well, at least you're taking up, you're saving space.
But I will say that I have an entire BMR shelf. So,
nice.
yes.
All right, perfect.
All right.
Burt Gummer and Tackleberry.
That's
spot on.
That would be fantastic
a
combination.
team-up movie of Burt Gummer and Tackleberry?
Oh.
Yes.
Why? Now, I know they roped John Heater in. We found that out for Tremors 7.
Yep.
Napoleon Dynamite comes into that movie, right?
Yeah.
But why couldn't they have gotten, do you tell me David Graff had a busy schedule and couldn't have came in?
Couldn't have come into
his schedule's kind of clear now.
That's what I'm saying.
He passed away.
Oh, when did he pass away?
2001, 2002.
Ah, crap. I'm an asshole. I had no idea.
Neither did I.
All right. Well, rest in peace, David. You were awesome, brother. All right, let's keep going now. I don't know what the hell we're supposed to do now.
Oh, man. Way to bring down the show from the kids' table.
No, I mean, it's fine. He saved me from looking like a moron. I appreciate that. To be like, somebody call David and get him on the horn and get him in Tremors
Let's get
now.
this going.
I would have made that phone call. But, I'm sorry.
He's not answering.
He's dead? I'm so sorry for your loss.
Oh, he's getting eaten by real tremor worms? I apologize.
So you're saying he can't come on our show.
Okay.
Got it.
Do you want to double check?
Are you sure about that?
No reason.
All right. So we find out the other kind of prevalent plot point, that's hard to say, prevailing plot point in the movie is that Mahoney, Steve Guttenberg's character, wants to get thrown out.
Yes.
He's been made to do this.
Desperately trying.
For 24 weeks or whatever it is. And surprisingly...
Which Lassard can't figure out the number.
No.
Which
It's
I
different
love the
every
running
time.
gag of,
Yes.
I'm not sure. I don't know how many weeks it really is.
He has very specific dyslexia, which is like just with numbers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
But he's not aware of it.
But he has no idea.
No.
Right? He keeps saying it's 12 weeks, 16, 24,
24.
whatever it is. He promised Reed, so he can't kick Mahoney out.
Yeah.
Right.
And Mahoney can't just drop out
Can't just
himself.
quit.
Or he'll
yeah,
go to
or he's going
jail. So he's kind of stuck.
Is that your fish?
To,
So he tries.
No, it's a friend's.
So he tries to get thrown out, but he can't. And surprisingly, his belly shirt is not working. That would have been why I threw him out. With his one in the oven. You have a one in the oven shirt, don't you, Mel?
No.
Oh, I thought you said that you had one. I must be thinking of somebody else.
Mine says it's twins.
Okay, perfect.
Mine says I'm with stupid.
There is some humor in the movie that, and again, we're not going to hit on every joke, so I'll be here forever. But I think there is some humor, and you guys tell me what you think, that is trying a little too hard in the movie.
Yeah.
For instance, most of the best stuff, I know, Doctor, you said there is no humor in the movie. I'm not there, okay? There is some humor. I think the best stuff comes from the character interactions. The stuff where they're trying really hard to be like, wouldn't it be so funny? Wouldn't it be so funny if the dog came up and humped his leg while he's trying to talk to the soldiers?
Yes, some of the sight stuff.
Like that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like,
right.
we're trying too hard here, guys.
Yeah, right.
Wasn't that funny? He's trying to talk and he got humped by his dog.
I have a hard time to agree with you right now. And
No, you don't have to agree.
so here's my thing. I was going to say this later, but I'll just say it now because you're bringing it up.
Yeah.
The jokes in this were so 1984 that I feel like it's a totally different time.
Sure.
So in 1984, this movie was probably the most hilarious thing out at the time.
Oh,
it wouldn't have pulled in $150 million on a $4 million budget.
In 1980.
Yeah.
Don't assume I don't like it.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the jokes are going to hit differently.
Yes.
So like I've never seen the movie until now.
So yeah. So when you watch this now, having never seen it before, and
I didn't feel like they were trying hard.
I might as well have never seen it. I mean, I saw them so long ago, I remembered almost nothing.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
I think as a 40-something-year-old man,
Yeah.
it feels a little bit trying hard.
Yeah.
But there was also the 6-year-old in me that was like, this is funny.
So when the dog starts humping Lassard,
I just chuckled.
Giggling your little butt off.
I giggled like a little girl. I was like, And then when he's trying to like,
he's got a
when he's
dog
trying
bar.
to get him off, when he's trying to pull the dog off of the guy, he's doing the whole like, oh, I'm really sorry, and he's like, and he's kind of like doing the like pulling his leg and letting him kind of finish thing.
That's true.
So it made me chuckle.
All right, well, this comedy. There's nothing more subjective than comedy. That's why it's so hard. Whenever people want to give awards to something, like comedy kind of never gets considered.
Right.
Yeah.
Because drama, there's like more objective standard of what's really
Like,
well
did it make
done.
you feel something?
Drama.
Right.
But
Making somebody laugh is
what's
not
funny
as,
to Mel is not funny to you or me or what's funny to you. Like there's six
That's
people in the
true.
room. There's six opinions as to
Right.
what's funny.
No,
Right.
absolutely.
Which we can maybe all agree that like the opening scene to Saving Private Ryan is really dramatic and awesome. Right?
Right.
I'm really glad you said dramatic and not funny.
No. Oh my gosh! When they had
holding his arm.
when they couldn't hide behind the metal, the little metal military things.
Oh, it was great. I laughed so hard.
When he tried to shoot the guy with the
I
thing, but he
almost peed
couldn't.
my pants.
No, man, I love that movie.
I will say though, I think it would have been funnier if they had left that guy just running after the dog, going "Princess!" Like just that, I thought was
Yes.
funny, and then I thought it was like unnecessary to add the dog jumping in like
I
that.
got you.
Humping his leg.
Yeah, but whatever.
No,
have
they-
your own opinion,
yeah.
Kurt.
Some,
But look at the
Sure.
2000 version of this. You got Van Wilder with the dog, and the
Which-
dog.
Right.
which
Yeah.
is even worse than this. That's not even funny to me.
Right.
I think Van Wilder. That is, Mel. I think that's a better example of what Kurt is saying, in that some things in 2000 or in 84, in your case, might feel different now.
Right.
I think in 2000 there was a period from like 94 till 03 with like Dumb and Dumber and Shallow Hal and Van Wilder and stuff, where like gross out humor was a big thing.
It was like Wild
Right.
West humor.
Like
Like you could say whatever you wanted.
American Pie. It was like, how can we top what
The
the
last
one
movie did.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we made him drink pee in this one. We got to make him drink something else.
Yeah,
in
we
this
gotta make
one.
him
Right.
Eat-
dog
eat
semen.
sperm,
Yeah.
dog semen, whatever.
Sorry, fellas, the bakery's closed.
Right. And so, yeah, but now that we're removed from that period when that was really like a big,
Where's the cancel culture
popular
on that?
thing, it's like, yeesh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
No, they never saw it coming.
No.
Oh, that's a pun.
All right. So so we get introduced to a few new cops that didn't get introduced until we were already at the academy. We had the ones that they introduced us to beforehand, and now that we're here, we meet a few more, like Martine,
Hightower.
Corporal Martine, who is like the Rico Suave guy.
Yeah.
Hightower, which is played by Bubba Smith, a longtime NFL player, this huge dude.
The
Cadet
Meek Mouse girl. I don't know. Hooks. That's right.
Her name is Hooks.
Yeah.
Who can't raise her voice above a whisper, which is, man, they mine that thing for comedy for 7 straight movies.
Yeah.
And then these two racist cops, basically, these two D-bags that are, they get the buzz cuts, and then basically Lieutenant Harris brings them under his wing to say, you guys,
they're just the ass kisses.
yeah,
Of the movie,
you
right?
guys are going to help me get rid of a couple of these other people, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So those two kind of D-bag cops work to be the villains because there's not really a bad guy in the picture,
No.
right? Other than maybe Harris.
Harris
and the two
would,
guys,
yeah.
Harris, yeah.
right? And let's talk about Lieutenant Harris for a minute. This is G.W. Bailey, who did not appear in 2 and 3, but comes back for 4. And I don't know how many beyond that he was in. But he basically is the main antagonist of the movie as the drill sergeant. What did you guys think of G.W. Bailey as Lieutenant Harris?
He was one of my favorite characters in the movie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He played
I
it well.
enjoyed him being a jerk. He was really good at being a dick.
He did a good job.
He made you not like him, and his antics helped the other characters with the humor.
If you don't hate the guy, then you're not going to be on the cop's side.
Right, and the jokes don't play as well.
Exactly.
I mean, the whole scene when he walks up and they show the gratuitous butt shot.
Yeah.
Then there's gratuitous boob shot.
Well, it's the 80s.
Then there's girls showering.
Yeah.
And Guttenberg's doing his thing, or Mahoney's doing his
Guttenberg-
thing down there.
Mahoney's hanging out at the girls' shower like he's at a baseball game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sitting
Just
on
having
the
a beer.
rail, just
Sitting on-
chugging on a beer.
Right.
And then,
Watching the shower scene.
Harris walks up and he's like, give me that beer and you get out of here. What are you
Right.
doing? And then he decides to be the jerk and
Well, that was-
and then that's what makes that part funny
Yeah.
is only because now he's the scuzz bucket who gets caught eyeballing the girls showering.
Well, that's my question is like, Harris gets mad at him. Like, what are you doing there?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then he's like, hey. Yeah.
Right. And it also makes me wonder, they screamed as soon as he started looking. The girls must have known Guttenberg was there.
And didn't mind.
didn't
Yeah,
care.
sure.
Didn't care.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's the way I
that's to
took
be
it.
assumed. But yeah, the joke, that's what makes the joke funny is because you
Right.
hate this guy.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, yeah, he's going to get it. Like, no one was like, oh, man, I hope Guttenberg gets caught.
No.
You know, it was.
I did think it was very interesting that Lieutenant Harris is himself a knob and also had a knob that he just carried around and like played
And, like,
with
the polish
whole
and-
thing.
yeah.
I'm like, that's really, if they did that on purpose, it's absolutely incredible. And I'm just going to choose to believe that they did that on purpose, right? Like, here's this guy as a
What do
knob.
I do with my hands?
We're going to give him a knob to play with.
and polish.
Right.
Polish his knobs.
Fantastic. There's a scene, he's a weird dude. There's literally a scene where he walks around the barracks and watches people sleep while polishing his knob.
Yeah.
And chuckling.
That was creepy.
And chuckling.
That's a scene that's in this movie,
Yeah.
presented without comment. And
Yeah.
again, at the end, the whole thing serves to have him make some, Motormouth make some video game noises.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, this guy's pretty zany, and walks away. And that's
Literally.
This guy's
Yeah.
pretty zany.
I've got too many pairs of glasses now. I'm messing with all of them. All right, I'll put this one over here. All right, where are we at? Okay, so after Mahoney's initial attempts fail, I mean, what are some ways he tries to get kicked out? He sends
He
Leslie.
hits on, what's her name?
Yeah, sexual
Trail.
harassment.
That was one of the
Perfect. He
yeah.
sexually harasses Karen.
I need to see your thighs. Like, what?
Right,
a
makes
great
it
line.
seem like he's a superior officer standing behind her.
Yeah.
Sends Leslie over to the commandant's house to get clothes
Yeah.
while his wife's
Yes.
in the
Right.
shower.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Does a number of things.
Puts a shoe polish on the bullhorn
On the
or whatever
bullhorn
it was.
for,
Yeah.
for Harris. But ultimately, when these attempts fail, he gets sent to Lazard, the Leslie Nielsen character.
Yes.
Who apparently is running a profitable fish babysitting service.
Yeah.
Don't know why he says. I think this is another issue with the actor, and I will not beat this horse to death. I promise. This is the last time I'll bring it up. No, I got one more time I'll bring this up. But I mean, having Leslie Nielsen in this scene when he says, "Oh, nice fish, sir," and him going, "Oh, it's not mine. I'm babysitting it for somebody or whatever."
Yeah.
It was
Right.
just
Like,
like
it's not mine, it's a friend's.
it's not mine. It's a friend's. But like so deadpan.
Yes.
It would have been just incredible.
See, it's so funny to me because, like, I didn't, until you mentioned it now, I'd never even thought Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
I just watched it and enjoyed that guy.
Oh, it's not mine,
heard
it's a
in-
friend's.
Yeah, I heard it in the voice because
Yeah.
he was kind of trying to do his voice.
Well, he just sounds like that. I mean, he sounded like that on Punky Brewster. So
Oh, for
he
sure.
was, he was the dad from Punky Brewster. But
There's one other scene specifically
Yeah.
we'll get to. I'll talk about that, but I won't beat a dead horse. Ultimately, there's this cool exchange where he realizes he can't get away, and he says, Mahoney says, "You mean I'm trapped here?" And Lazar goes, "We all are."
we're all
Yeah.
back there. Yeah.
Like even me.
Yeah.
So basically, this is where we get into the part of the movie where it very much is and then part of the movie.
Yeah.
Here's the police academy shenanigans, right? We run the obstacle course.
Yes.
And Lieutenant Harris is sitting off on the side in a lawn chair like my grandpa used to sit on the deck of his pontoon boat,
Polishing his knob.
polishing his knob, while these guys are running the obstacle course.
With
Right.
Callahan.
Yes, which we'll get to in just a sec. But they got to jump over this brick wall, but ultimately Hightower just knocks it over.
Yeah.
A fake
Yeah.
brick wall.
Clearly
Clearly a
the
fake.
most clearest.
I mean, you don't
Wallpaper
walk up
of
to
brick.
You don't walk up. I mean, the little mouse Hooks walks up and she's like, "Bam!" and the thing goes wigger, 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 back and forth. And I'm like, that's gonna play in something later. And then sure enough, here comes Hightower. Boom!
Right.
And the whole wall falls.
It was
down.
like styrofoam wall that had tack paper on it that made it look like
right,
bricks.
right.
And he knocks the whole thing over. But so then let's talk about Officer Callahan, because the next scene is a hand-to-hand combat class with Officer it's Kavanaugh, right? Or is it it's not Callahan or Kavanaugh?
I think it's
Sergeant
Callahan.
Sergeant Callahan.
Callahan, okay. So Sergeant Callahan is teaching these guys how to fight. Now, Sergeant Callahan is like
Yes.
6 feet, well, at least she's shot this way. I don't know how
Yeah.
tall she
Right.
actually is. This like 6 foot tall blonde woman, all business,
All built.
giant rack, but like dressed like a man.
And tough
Tough.
as just beyond tough.
Beyond
that is beaten to. Like, you talked about beating a dead horse.
Right.
Right.
That was driven home.
And so the first person that comes up to get demonstrated on is Leslie, this poor little chubby Leslie, and he says, "Come at me like you're going to stab me with a fake knife."
I don't really want to.
Right, which he does, and he ends up pinned to the ground between her thighs,
Scissor locked,
crotch right in his face.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he says, and she's like, "This is how you do it. All right, who's next?" And they all jump.
They all raise their
everybody's
hands.
I'll go.
jumping up. Me, I'm next.
We'll both go.
Yeah, I was like, you're going to do both of us.
I've never ever seen a cop. I think if cops actually took people down that way, a lot more people would try and stab cops.
It's true.
Right. I mean, I've never. Mel, have you ever witnessed a cop?
Female cops.
Right, a female cop do that takedown in the field?
I mean, junk has been in faces before. just saying.
Especially in the shoe academy.
Perfect.
Yeah. Is that a foot long? Is that a
Size 12.
Is that a 1 foot?
That's right. Here's how,
Shoplifters, anything goes.
here's how you get a lady into a shoe that's 2 sizes too small for her. And
Who wants to be demonstrated on next?
You out? Pick me.
Mel ends up crotch to nose on these ladies. That's how it went down in the shoe academy, didn't it?
Break the ankle, walk away.
That's right. That's right.
Tap for me.
Another bit of hilarity is at the shooting range.
Yes.
Mel's favorite thing.
Love
And at first, like just the way that they're handling the guns.
All
Right.
of them
Oh,
are terrible.
Yeah.
This is the first time they get handed like the standard issue weapon.
Yes.
Right?
The handguns we're talking
their
about
little
first.
handguns.
Because there's a shotgun scene too.
Right. And so Tackleberry is not impressed with the standard issue.
No, he's not having it.
So instead, he uses a gun meant to hunt dinosaurs
Yeah.
or something.
He's got explosive incendiary rounds. Is that what they're called?
I think that's the one he later sold to Johnny
fire.
Knoxville in The Last Stand.
Literally, yeah, it's the same gun.
It explodes this wooden target.
Yes.
Mel, what kind of gun was Tack firing there?
I think he just had a 44 Magnum.
Is that all that
Extended
was?
barrel.
But
like
the rest of them had the Smith & Wesson Model 10.
Well, I love Harris coming up and being like, hi, hello, soldier. Do you mind if I borrow that for a minute?
Yeah. He's like, oh, my
Who
mother
bought that for you? Yeah.
My mother gave it to me.
Yeah, my mother got it for me. So wait a second. Is that where tack comes from?
That's where Tack comes from.
Tackleberry.
I'm making the connections,
Yeah,
baby.
there we go.
I'm getting it.
I'm assuming, Mel, not that a broad comedy like Police Academy would be slaves to reality, but I'm assuming a 44 Magnum is not going to explode that target like that.
No, just a little bigger hole.
Just a little bit of a bigger hole. That's right. But that was he looked like he fired a cannonball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing. It blew the whole top part of it
Well,
off.
and everybody's like doing the same thing like we saw in Armed and Dangerous, where it's like, pew, and it's shooting off on like the hill behind the target.
Classic 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get a good shooting range joke into your movie,
Do it.
it's just
Do it.
hilarious.
Yeah.
The scary thing is teaching people how to shoot is...
Wait, you had to teach people how to shoot in the shoe academy?
Hey,
You got to shoot
see my
shoes.
receding hairline?
You got to fire them shoes off to people.
That's right. All right, now just as Mahoney finally gets a shot to get out of the academy, right? Lieutenant Harris has had it with him. He's going to call the
The phone scene where he's
the
like,
cop from the 1800s. He's
Yep.
going to call him.
He's going to call Cop Handlebar
Or he's
Mustache.
going to send a letter on the Pony Express to
Send him a telegraph.
a telegraph.
He's going to send it by Eagle.
Take this down to the rail station here, put it on the next mail train out.
He's a falconer. He's just going to send it off.
What should have happened? What happened is they tried to get Reed on the phone. He didn't understand how it worked.
He's from Beastmasters.
Yeah.
He just sent off his hawk and
They should just use the eyeball ring.
yeah,
This is what's happening.
pulls
I'll
it
just
out,
show
puts it on.
Look at what's happening over here. It's ridiculous. Got a ring around my mouth. He's just about, and
Shoe polish.
Mahoney's cool. He's like, yeah, call Reed if we
Yeah,
can finally
do it.
get out of
Right.
this.
Do
That'd
it.
be
I'm
awesome.
out of here.
And right as that's about to happen, Kim Cattrall walks past the window looking adorable
Yes.
in her little shorts,
Yep.
and they call back to the thigh
Knee-high
thing.
socks.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
She's
here are
like,
my thighs.
look at my thighs.
Don't you want to stick
She's
around?
like, here they
And
are.
then she
That's
does
literally
the whole,
all
like,
she does.
She goes, huh?
Right?
He's like-
Right?
And
You
he's like, it's okay so that you'll be begging me for it
He's like-
later. But it's just like, really, dude? Like,
is that how that works? I've been just
that's what he's doing.
I've just
He's
been
playing a mind
complimenting.
game, bro.
Oh.
He's like, you're okay.
See,
6 out of
I guess
10.
I'm just too nice.
Yeah.
We're old.
playing the
We're old
douchebag card.
fogies.
We're old.
We've been doing it wrong.
Next time my wife comes in and says, how do you think this looks on me? I'm going to go, terrible.
You're going to die. She will literally murder you. You don't do that after you get married.
Don't do that. Okay, I got
See,
it.
but today you can just say, mid.
Old people
My
don't know
wife's
what
young.
that
I
is.
just go, show me your thighs. And she's like, you're a creep.
There you go. All right, everybody, that's your homework. Try that today when you get home with
that.
your wives.
Don't try that with your wife. You will die. It only works if you don't care about preserving the
Well, see,
relationship.
so you have to preface it first with, are you drinking 1% because you think you're fat? And then you can break
Then
into
you
it.
can
I think
do
it'll be all right.
It's all about how you set it up.
That's right. You got to set it up.
Set up.
Set it up.
You're right, Ryan. All right, so it's time for their first weekend leave, and Lieutenant Harris wants to know where the party's going to be.
Where are they going?
Right, so he gets.
Mahoney decided to stay. I don't think we
Yeah.
said that.
No, he went on
Wait,
the phone.
you're right. My
Yeah.
bad. After seeing her thighs out the window, he picks up the phone with the 1800s cop and said,
Yeah.
Yep. Or basically, he goes, "Can I leave?" Nope. All right, thanks, and hangs
I
up.
tried.
I tried.
I tried. So this is the reason he tried for weeks to get out.
Yeah.
Sees this girl's pasty white thighs.
That's it. He's like,
And he's
thighs.
Truck.
Which
Thighs.
is really a weak excuse because beyond this, they don't really carry this through the rest of the movie.
No.
They're together like twice the rest of
Yeah,
the film.
Right.
He's never heard of KFC. He can see all the thighs he wants there. That's all I'm
Literally.
saying.
And they taste
I do like
great.
extra crispy.
They're freaking delicious.
Original
That's what I'm
recipe.
saying, man.
Maybe I am getting old. I would much rather have a bucket of thighs.
You know how many more thighs I can get if I go to KFC?
I would love 11 herbs and spices right now.
Seriously.
No
Give
potential
me an
for
extra
pain.
biscuit.
I guess, 13-year-old me was like, oh, this is the best part of the movie.
I
Or
would
not.
stay.
I would have stayed.
I'm
there.
And
glad
now I'm
you
like,
said
I could
that.
totally use some KFC.
This whole movie is like a 13-year-old's dream.
Could you
That's
imagine?
why I said
all it
from
is.
1984, the 6-year-old me was like, it was like the Mikey Likes It commercials.
Yeah.
Probably would have
Life.
loved this movie back in the day.
If I
Yeah.
was 13?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, a 13-year-old would love this movie.
This movie's awesome. There's boobs.
As an adult, though, you're like,
Well,
really? What is this?
Really?
Unless you're Kurt.
Yeah.
Unless you're
I mean-
Kurt's 6 years old on the
Kurt's a
inside.
perpetual teenager, which is part of what I love about him. It's his charm.
Well, that's true.
charming
That's
about
why I haven't seen all the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
They're too scary. They're
Yeah.
too old for them.
All right, so they got their first week.
I can't watch that yet.
My mom says I can't have chocolate. There's a monster. Mom, will you check under my bed? I live 18 miles away. No. Oh, come on.
Just hold the eye ring under it, and I'll be able to see under there.
I do have an
Do I need to sing you my special song, Kurt?
Not think.
Quit looking at my windows, Ryan. How do you know I have a special song? Did you talk to my wife? She said it on the chat.
I did not think that we would be calling back to Beastmaster in the Police Academy episode. But
You're welcome.
You know what? Here we are. All right. So their first weekend leave. Lieutenant Harris knows there's going to be a party. There always is a party.
Yes.
He knows Mahoney is the guy that's going to set it up. So he tries to get these two D-bag cops to find out where the party's going to be so that they can get them in trouble and call in on whatever shenanigans happen.
Yeah.
Inevitably will happen.
I'm preferencing this right now.
Yeah.
I love this joke.
Yeah, it was.
I laughed so hard.
Of course you did.
I laughed so hard.
Of course you did. We're getting to it. We're getting to it. Don't blow it yet. All right. So
You are 6 years old.
they first go, these two cops first go to, of course, because you'd go to Leslie, right? To be like, where's the party going
Yeah.
to be?
Yeah.
That's their first
Yeah.
mistake.
Yeah.
But they can't go to Mahoney because he knows they won't tell him. So they
Right.
try to get Leslie to ask Mahoney. Mahoney immediately figures out.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He knows.
That
Who's asking? Somebody.
because Leslie even goes,
Not
I
me.
don't want to go to the party.
It wasn't
but-
me. I'm
but
going
like,
to my mom.
I'm
But will
going. My
you tell
mom's
me where
my
it is?
dog named Princess. It's actually a prince.
Well, it's interesting because he doesn't play off to Leslie that he knows though.
No, right.
No, right.
So he gives him false information.
Right.
Because he knows he's feeding it back to Lieutenant Harris. or
Whoever's
his,
going.
His cronies
right.
or
Whoever's
whatever.
asking, right?
So he tells him that the party's going to be at this bar called the Blue Oyster.
Yes.
Yes. The Blue Oyster.
You guys remember gay bars in the 1980s? At least
No.
as depicted.
I was 6.
Yeah.
At least as depicted. Let
You
me
never went?
Let me rephrase that. You guys remember gay bars?
My uncle did.
In the movies in the 1980s.
Yes.
Yep.
They were very,
It
very
was always
cliche.
leather clad,
Yep.
biker hats.
Yes. Did they hand out a uniform to these people before they?
You signed up. You said I'm gay,
They all looked.
and then they handed them.
like, here's your uniform.
Here's your
He's in.
uniform.
They all look like they're the same leather biker from the Village People. All
Hey,
of them.
that's where they came out with the expression "coming out of the closet." They're like, "Here's your uniform out of the closet."
They all got the same leather police looking
Same.
hat.
Yep.
Yep.
They all look like Freddie Mercury.
Not
Yeah.
most
Yeah,
of them.
that's
Yeah,
what.
they did.
Yeah.
Not most of them. All of them.
Every one of them.
Standard issue gay
Yep.
outfits for the gay bar.
yeah.
in
Some
80s
might have had
movie.
like the X shirt with the that
Studded
connected
leather.
at like the ring, but
Yes.
all of
Nipples
them were
hanging out,
Nipples
you know.
hanging out.
Like they had a bouncer at the front door handing out costumes.
You're not allowed.
Yeah.
It's a
Wait,
dress code. You're not
there's a
allowed in
dress
the Blue
code, yeah.
Oyster. unless
Sorry,
you're
sir.
wearing this
There's a
outfit.
dress code.
You're telling me that was a gay bar?
No, it's just a bunch
bar.
of friends hanging out.
yeah, good friends.
They
hanging
just
out.
really like each other.
It's a family joint.
I've heard that one before.
The guys walk in.
There's a lot of thighs there.
There was.
A lot of daddies in there.
So these two cops walk in, right? And I'm assuming they get asked the question when they get there, are you gay? And that's why they didn't get the uniform, right?
Yeah.
Because they said no.
Oh, they said no.
what?
Oh,
No.
okay.
Like, no. Well, you don't get a uniform. I mean, we're going to dance with you to make sure.
Yeah, that's
Obviously.
that's how you get in.
We got to make sure. So you have to dance with us for 6 hours.
No, a little longer. A little longer.
And then if you're
gonna
still
make
not
sure.
gay,
Bring it in closer. Bring it in tighter.
then you can leave. Otherwise,
After-
you're getting the uniform.
But that end scene, when they are slow dancing, I laugh so hard because it's like there's an opportunity at some point that they could have just left.
Apparently
Instead,
not.
they're like,
You can't leave until they
still
know
there.
for sure that you're not gay.
but they knew the party wasn't there at some point.
They're like-
the moment they walked
The
in,
moment they walked in,
could have
they
been
knew the
like,
party wasn't there.
I thought they were just trying to not be rude.
we're out.
Kind of seemed like they weren't
And
really
then-
allowed to leave.
And then the best part is when
Oh, what's
Harris.
the best part?
When Harris was like,
Afterwards.
Oh, after.
yes,
Like
afterwards.
you didn't call me this
Yeah, he's
weekend.
like, you didn't
Yeah,
call
why'd
me.
you call
And he's
me?
like, what was the party all about? And he's like, dancing.
Dancing.
There was a lot
There
of
wasn't a-
dancing.
First, there wasn't a
Dancing.
party.
And they almost looked
he
like they
says-
enjoyed it.
he says-
and that was the best part.
It's-
Was they
he
were
said
like,
something very specific.
Yeah. He says dancing mostly.
mostly. Yes.
I don't want to know
What the rest
what
of it
the rest of it was. He said very specifically, mostly
Yeah.
You're
dancing.
probably talking about biker parts.
That's what.
There was a lot of bikers
That's what it is.
there.
They went in the back and they fixed a motorcycle.
Oh yeah, I'm
up.
sure they were checking out some
just-
tailpipes.
Yeah. Just had it
So
right.
you're saying there was
Do you want me to suck your exhaust or?
That's a pun. That's a pun. I don't
What are
care.
you doing, step biker?
It's a mighty fine kickstand you got there.
Oh, this one's dual exhaust.
Vroom vroom.
Oh my!
One of the guys wanted to get in on it, but it was too tired.
Gosh.
Yes. I haven't got one
You
of
did
those in a
it.
while.
You did
It
it.
has been a while.
Okay. As gay as that Blue Oyster was, the actual party is as hetero as that scene was gay.
Oh,
This was the most-
Love saxophone? That didn't do it for you?
They're just like, all right, boobies everywhere.
This is literally
was playing the
The
saxophone.
most 80s like party you could have, where it's just like
100%.
I'm taking my shirt off now. Like
They were dancing around the fire like,
And the thing
like
that
they
got
were
me
bowing to the booby gods.
is Tackleberry act like he never saw titties before.
yeah,
He's just like, trying to play the saxophone. He's just like,
No, his brain was overloaded. Like his brain
Yeah.
could not process more than 2 boobs at the same time. Right.
He got one set, and he's like, all right, I'm good. And then all of a sudden another set came out, and he's like, yeah,
too many.
it's too many. This doesn't work.
The little circle over his forehead is like the spinning wheel.
Like it's just loading.
Tack was buffering.
someone hit
Neener,
Control
neener.
Alt Delete here. And
Any more than 4 is a waste.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, you guys. It was the most 80s thing ever.
it
Yeah.
was absolutely.
All of a
was.
sudden, Tackleberry turned into Duke Silver, okay?
Yeah.
From Parks and Rec. And
Kurt's choking on his WD-40 over here.
And we do have the one scene where Kim Cattrall walks over and she's like, "Want to go for a walk? I don't want to see these chicks walk around with their shirts off."
Right.
To Mahoney. They take a walk in that they take 4 steps away from the group and start making out, basically.
Right.
This is the only real scene where we see them together.
I took that differently. I took it as she saw them taking their shirts off, and she's like, "I don't want to be, the only one with my shirt off, but I'm not going to do it over here."
Right. Clearly not going to do it over here. So let's take 5 steps to the left, and then we'll do it over there.
That's a hell of a dance. I'd like to
For
be
sure.
part of.
For sure.
5 dances, 5 steps to the right, and
Well, she upgraded, man. She's got Steve Guttenberg, and 2 years later, she's with Kurt Russell. So I think, big step up for her, for sure.
yeah. And then what does Gutenberg go after?
Jamie
Boyfriend
Gertz,
school.
boyfriend school.
Right.
Now, Jamie Gertz is not. I'd say that's
She
a step
doesn't want
up.
him though.
Yeah.
Jamie Gertz is a step up from Kim Cattrall to me.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
The
But,
quality of that movie is a big step.
oh
down,
yeah.
for sure.
I mean, he did better luck with a robot.
Right, he was trying to get with Johnny Five
Hey,
after
J5 baby.
He really sold the German accent, though.
this. He did. But you mean his
New Zealand.
New Zealand accent?
New Zealand.
Oh, I thought
Germany,
it was
New
Austrian.
No, well, it's just sounded that way, but it was supposed to
Oh.
be New Zealand for sure. All right, more Academy shenanigans. We got the shotgun obstacle course that came up after this. Mel, when we watched the trailer, you called out something specific here.
Yes.
Basically, it's like what do you call it? A tactical trial? What's that called?
They were just doing a live fire range.
Like breach and clear kind of a thing?
Just multiple targets.
Would pop up in windows and doorways and stuff.
Don't hit the friendlies, hit the enemies.
Right, exactly. And the first person was who was the first
Leslie.
person? No, somebody went before Leslie and
It
actually
was Hightower.
Hightower and did good.
Yeah.
And then Leslie comes up and they load the gun for you, hands it to Leslie. Leslie's just walking with it pointed off to the side and it just goes off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he spins around.
Yeah, and everybody ducks.
And everyone ducks, except for Tackleberry.
Tackleberry.
Why is that?
He knew because he didn't re-rack it. So
Right.
shotgun only works after you re-rack it.
I never would have even thought about that. So
Right.
I
It
love
just
that you
shows he
pointed
knows
that
his
out.
guns.
Everyone ducked but Tackleberry because he knew he couldn't fire the gun.
Right, and then he
Without
spins
him
back
racking
around.
it again.
He cocks it again.
Yes.
Shell goes out.
And then
then he hits a bell. And he goes, "All right, I'm done." He hands the gun back to the officer. Yeah.
I'm fine. And Tackleberry is certifiable. This guy cannot. I know we all love him, but he should not be a cop.
Oh,
No.
you're so right.
He's like the guys that have almost joined every single service branch. Like I used to be, I almost signed up for the Marines, and
Right.
and then I almost signed up for the Navy.
Right.
I was going to be a SEAL. Those guys that are
yeah.
just like psycho.
So he was wearing a shirt at the beginning.
Right.
He was wearing a Mac SOG shirt.
Right.
Okay.
He was
So-
dressed like military.
Yeah.
So if you look at his character, he looks like he's former special forces.
Right.
Yeah.
He even
may
had the
have
tote bag. He had the tote bag. He had the whole thing. He looked like a guy
He
coming
rolled up
on.
in the army.
Well, if
From
there
the
isn't a
army.
scene that makes it any more clear than this
Yeah.
one.
But then even when
Yeah.
they ask, the next scene he goes, "Do any of you have military training?" He doesn't raise
He
his
never
hand.
No,
says
he never
anything.
He never volunteer.
No. So I think he's kind of a poser.
Yeah.
And
You
not,
shut your whore mouth.
Okay, if we're gonna talk about that scene, I had a problem with that though because Gutenberg, so first he sexually harasses what's her face to try to get kicked out.
well, that turned out to work. So I don't know, but yeah.
Okay.
She seemed to kind of
Yeah,
enjoy
they
it,
were into
actually.
Then he's gonna go and be like, "Well, I was in. I served."
Right.
Yeah.
Like this guy is not a lead character. He's
Stolen
just a big
valor.
douche.
You're right.
That's all he is.
You're right.
That's my take on it.
I think you're right. I don't think you're wrong at all.
No, he definitely was.
Speaking of douches, so Officer
Speaking of douches, can we not?
Officer Martine, who we haven't really talked about, has been occasionally
Fabio?
sneaking over.
Oh,
to
Martin.
I think every night, not occasionally.
every night. He pulls up the first time we ever see him with 5 chicks in a car.
In a convertible.
Says they're
big old
all my
convertible.
girlfriends.
Those are my
Yeah.
girlfriends.
Every time we see him sneaking over to the girls' dormitory, he's got 2 girls in bed with him at the same time.
Yeah.
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 And
Only one cup, though.
he's dressed over like. I can't put that in there.
I know. I'm sorry. I
sorry.
tried not to laugh, but
I'm sorry.
He pulls up and he's dressed like Richard Belzer from The Wrong Guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
he looks exactly like him once he's got the robe and he's got his falsies and
The-
to look like a
The
girl.
shower cap.
The shower cap. Everything.
Sunglasses, yeah.
to look like a girl. He sneaks in.
Which
this
he wears
time.
the sunglasses all the time,
wears them
so
all
that
the
wasn't
time.
a giveaway.
Right. Yeah.
He gets pulled into one of the rooms by Callahan, by this butch
Yeah, she finally figured it out.
cop who a couple times we saw she might have been wise to it.
She's
She was smoking in the
watching, yeah.
hallway or whatever. But she pulls him into the room and it's like do you think
Lets him
you think
have it.
he's busted?
Yeah.
But no, she wants her turn.
Yeah.
Right.
And rips his clothes off of him.
Yeah.
Rips her clothes off of herself and slams him like the rusty gate that grandma could never get to shut right. You know what I'm talking about?
Man,
Yeah, I miss
Wilson.
grandma.
This movie made you miss your grandma.
Well, the rusty gate.
This scene specifically.
This
Makes me miss my grandma.
Don't judge.
I don't know why that's I don't know why this is the thing that makes him be a one-woman guy. So after this,
He just
Martine
met his
like,
match.
I'm now smitten and I'm in love and
Yeah.
Well, and
we're
it
gonna be a
admits to
thing.
Guttenberg that, or to Mahoney that he's not Italian or Mexican
Spanish.
or
Yeah.
Spanish.
He's just a regular guy.
Just,
Yeah.
It's like fourth generation.
George
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah.
He's just a regular dude.
Yeah.
But he
He's
used
like
it to
the
get chicks.
accent. I got chicks.
Got chicks, man.
Now I'm a one-woman man. And he's like, yeah, how does it make you feel? And I like how he's like, it sucks.
It sucks. To get back at Mahoney and Leslie for giving them false info and sending them to the Blue Oyster, these two D-bag cops go and hire a prostitute and sneak it into Leslie's room
I forgot about this. Yeah.
right before room inspections are about to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Callahan and Harris are coming up, checking the railings on the stairs.
Yeah.
Apparently it was a stairway inspection also.
I do like
White
that
glove.
Leslie's smart enough, though, to run and go tell Mahoney, like, hey, there's a girl in my room and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
Mahoney pulls her out of there and runs outside with her and gets her out of there before the room inspection. But this is where it's a bit of a stretch. Runs her into the auditorium and hides her in the podium
Right.
where the speaker is going to. Now, you were already outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Well, you
Like
had the whole
going.
just
Yeah.
send her off.
Yeah, you had
Yeah.
the whole trope of oh, they're coming, run here, and then
Well, yeah, it was the, what's the leader's name again?
Lassard.
Lassard's
Yeah.
going through with like a bunch of other officers, and there's
To
this
give a
big,
speech.
Yeah, speech, or
Which I understand.
they
this
were
whole
showing
thing,
off the grounds or something.
the reason she ends up in the podium is because they wanted to pull off a specific joke.
Sure.
The way they execute it is a bit of a stretch because once you get her out of the door, shut it behind you and go back inside.
Right.
Like, let her figure out how to get the hell out of here, right? Like you
that's all you had to do.
just need to get her out of the room.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, but it's that there's a joke they want to get to, so they
Yes.
hide her in the podium, and of course, Lassard comes in to give this speech to all these dignitaries. It looks like cops from all over the place, chiefs of police.
Let's see the slideshow.
And they go to run a PowerPoint presentation, and he's standing there, and she thinks this is her customer, and so she starts to blow him.
Which Mahoney's
While
in
he's
there
giving a
with,
speech.
with.
Yeah, Mahoney
and
had to
he's
go
looking
in
through
there.
the front because there's like it's
Right.
like perforated, so he's able
yeah.
to see through the podium
Yes.
and see who's talking. But then
Yes.
the girl, like they're back to back.
Yes,
And he doesn't know at all what's going on, apparently.
until he looks back.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, what am I going to do? I'm stuck here now.
And so
Yeah.
he's stuck in there, which is another layer of weird. But the
Yes.
only reason
Yeah.
they kept him in there was for another joke,
Yes.
which is even more stupid.
Which I love.
Was.
But so the setup is dumb, or the joke itself dumb. The thing with Mahoney, and again, this is just my opinion. The only thing that worked from a comedic standpoint was Lassard's
Yes.
presentation,
Yeah.
Right.
which
Yes.
was legitimately
That was
hilarious.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, to look at the slide.
Yeah.
Just take a minute on this next one.
Yeah.
Let's look at this slide without comment.
Can we put the lights up, please? Smoke if you got them.
This is the scene I mentioned before. The only other time I'm going to imagine. Can you imagine if frickin' Leslie Nielsen did this scene?
Oh,
How
Yeah.
that would have gone?
yeah.
It would have been great.
Oh
Yeah.
Would have been
my!
a great scene.
I would give anything to I know in some other alternate universe somewhere, Leslie Nielsen did this movie, and I just want to see the scene. I mean, it would be freaking hysterical, and sadly, we won't ever know. But to the guy's credit, he did a good job too. It's like, you could have had an A+, you ended up with an A-, and it's
Yeah.
still good. But
That's the word.
Right.
what could it have been? And this will be the last time I bring that up, but just wanted to make that point one more time because it would have been awesome. But yeah, so after everybody leaves, Lassard even walks away. His pants have been zipped up by the prostitute. He, for whatever reason, stops and looks back to see.
Never look back.
Never look back.
Never look back.
And of course, and I called this, I said to I don't know if it was Dana or Grace was in the room with me, I don't remember. Well, I basically said, I bet you anything
He turns around.
it's going to be Mahoney first out the gate.
Yeah, right.
I knew it.
And of course it
I
was.
knew
You knew
yeah.
it was.
And Mahoney just plays it up.
But
Like
the look, the
smiles
look
at
that Lazard gives him, and then the smile back,
Right.
and the recognition of, did this just happen? And his face was
Right.
like, nope,
he
I'm
thinks
not.
he just
I'm-
got blown by a cadet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then he's like, I'm out. And then that's the next scene where he sets it up with Harris. He's like, I want him out of here.
Yeah.
We got to get
And
rid
he's
of
like,
Mahoney.
why?
But then
What did he do? And he's like,
You hurt somebody.
can't tell you.
Didn't he walk into? He's like, I need a cigarette. When he walked in,
Right.
Harris asked him how he was doing. He's like, I need a cigarette.
Yeah.
We get a bunch of other random nonsense, and this is kind of the weakest part of the movie to me. It's like, okay, now they're out and about. Tackleberry shoots a cat. Hooks messes up traffic.
Yep.
It's all this
Yeah.
really elaborate setup just to get Harris's head up a horse's ass.
Yeah.
Right?
And-
I'm talking
and,
about trying hard to do a joke.
Yes.
And
That,
an
that I
apple.
would agree.
And an apple toss to start a riot.
Right, well, it's just coming in a minute here.
But
yeah.
it was still fun just because
What's funny anytime someone ends
at
up with
the
their head up a horse's
at
ass.
the end,
Right.
and they're like, here's your new hat, sir. And he's like, and then he looks at
Yeah.
Mahoney. He's like, did you tell anybody? And he's like,
Not a soul. Not
a soul.
Yeah.
And then he just goes down the line, and everyone's smirking
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and trying not to smile all the way to Callahan.
Yes.
And then that's the joke when I'm like, all right, it paid off
That-
enough
yeah.
to
That
where
was funny.
That was funny. But to get up to that point,
You're going to do this whole elaborate
was-
setup.
yeah, it was
where you're
unnecessary.
going to have hooks mess up traffic.
Right.
There has a dirt bike that he steals. They drives through to have somebody pull over
Yes.
just to launch his face into a horse's.
well, they had to get the momentum hard enough
Butthole.
to where
Yeah.
he would be in a horse's butthole.
Which
Sure.
means they started with the punchline.
Yep.
Right.
And
We wanna-
work their way back.
We got to get Harris's head up an animal's ass somehow. I mean, this movie is just not going to be okay if we don't like this script.
Missing something.
Like he's got the script, Ryan, right? And they're sitting
Yeah.
at the table, and it's the final read through. And he's like, I don't know, it's missing something. We've got to figure out a way to get Harris's head up some animal's ass.
Well, what if
What kind of animal do you want, sir?
I don't even care. It's just got to be big enough to fit
A human head?
a human head up. What do you think?
water buffalo? Oh,
Hippopotamus?
Those are too.
Wrong
Those are too
continent.
dangerous.
Cops use horses. Why don't we get a cop on a horse? Oh, no. You know what?
Brilliant.
Do it.
Let's put it in a trailer.
We'll start with an establishing shot of the horse tail. And
Right.
we'll back it off.
Right.
2 shot.
It's just super obvious in the way they did it that they really, like you said, worked backwards.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that kind of when you can see the gears of the joke, the wheels
You're
of
right.
it literally turning.
I agree with you on
It's
this
like,
joke.
eh.
Yes.
But you're right. The comedy that came out of it wasn't him sticking his head up a horse's butt.
no.
Wouldn't it be so funny? Wouldn't it be so funny?
cop stick his head up a horse's butt.
But it was the scene that you're talking about where they're all stifling their laughter. And
It's
the funniest-
again showing that this
Yeah.
guy's a jerk. Nobody likes
Yeah.
him. Not
Right.
even Callahan.
And the funniest thing to me that Motormouth did in the entire movie was the look on his face when he
No, that was
Nay.
good.
when he's stifling his
He's
laugh.
like trying not to laugh.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great stuff. All right. We also, and I felt like this was another big waste of time. You guys can tell me if you think I was wrong. The first hour of the movie was really solid. The last 30 minutes, from a comedy standpoint, really fell flat to me. And I feel like they wasted 10 minutes with like Hightower has to learn how to drive. Let's waste 10 minutes of this movie.
Yeah.
And I love the character of Hightower. He's very lovable. He's awesome. And when he pulls the rope out of the ceiling, he's like, oh, yeah, good job. You passed.
go
Go sit
take
over
some-
there.
Sit over there.
I'll take a seat.
Well, and I think the joke payoff on that was because they ended up stealing the jerky guy's car who's racist.
Right.
Right.
Because that's
Yeah.
the part that you notice. You don't realize that's his car.
Right.
All of a sudden, they get out and you see the Confederate flag on the front.
Right.
And you're like, well, that's weird. Why does Mahoney have a car with a Confederate flag on there?
It's the Garth
And then
Isn't it the
later-
car that Garth drove in Wayne's World? It looked very similar to it.
Yeah, it looks similar just because of the color, but it didn't. It
little
wasn't
hatchback.
Yeah, it wasn't a Gremlin though.
Well,
But anyway, but yeah, the whole joke, and then he rips the seats out. That was kind of funny.
Okay.
But for the most part, it was just to show like. It was to lead, like that's what I liked was I didn't even know until they showed later when they're doing the car thing and they tip what's his name because he says a racist slur to Hooks.
Yeah, so the whole thing leads up to them
Yeah,
being
bonding,
racist.
and then it shows, hey, this guy's like, they're getting even with the man, you know?
It made sense from a plotting standpoint. But
Yes.
It just wasn't funny at all to me. That's what I'm saying.
No, yeah, and I think it could have been done in a different way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still enjoyed the fact that I was surprised to know that
They
that
ruined his
was
car.
their car, because it baffled me as to
I
why
didn't know
Mahoney
I
had.
didn't know whose it was. I know it was stolen because Mahoney said we have to go steal a car.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
but then
Whose
when
it
you
was,
find out
we had no
later, you're
idea.
like,
I just thought they stole a
that's
random
funny.
car off
No,
the
it's the
street.
two D-bag cops, and so they rip the
Yeah.
seats out because he's tall. He gets in a high-speed chase with police that never gets resolved. It just cuts
No.
to him.
Which is another huge 80s trope. You always got to have the police car chase.
Yeah, the chase.
It cuts to his driving test, which he passes. Great. Then Hooks comes in, and she goes really slow, but she's adorable, and it all works fine.
She's singing Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was funny.
She gets out of the car, but drives over one of the racist cop's feet.
Yeah.
And so he calls her a racial slur, and Hightower comes down from where he's standing
Yeah.
and flips the squad car over
Well, yeah, while he's in it.
because
Yeah.
the guy gets back in the car.
Yeah.
And so Harris uses that as a reason to kick him out of the academy.
Right.
Right.
So Hightower is sent home at this point.
Yes.
Right. And so this is essentially leading into the final scene. There is one more thing that happens before the riot. It's started by the apple toss, in that there's a little scene in the cafeteria where the two D-bag cops walk up to, "What's up, Mahomo?" Mahomo. Which is, I mean, I have a great nickname for Patrick Mahomes now. But besides that, really stupid. They give Leslie a hard time. Leslie hits one of them in the face with it's supposed to be their lunch tray, but it's like a piece of tinfoil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes over
So
it
it
to
doesn't
go
actually
container.
hurt their face.
Right.
Right.
And they use that now to get rid of Mahoney takes the fall for Leslie hitting the guy with the tray.
Yeah.
And so he gets booted also. And Harris is thrilled to finally be rid of Mahoney. But before he can leave the building, there's an APB put out because there's a riot that started downtown by Fackler, who threw a apple out the window, hit somebody. There's a dude walking behind him with a thing of apples, starts a big brawl, and it turns into a riot.
Which that group, the guy that got hit by the apple, looked like the Make-A-Wish Mr. T.
They couldn't
It was
get
the
Mr.
B
T.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
B team.
and a guy, maybe I recognize I'm not necessarily should be the arbiter of what's funny and what's not. But was anything from this riot scene hilarious to
No.
anyone?
No.
No.
It's
No.
the climax
It
of
was
the
just
movie.
and it was just to move everything forward.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
It's
there would
not
be
funny.
one bad guy. Like you could have just had one bad guy.
Right.
But I think it was, well, how can we get all the characters down there need to be down there?
Right.
Right.
Which is fine. The device of it is you got to set up something. It's a device for the
Yep.
plot. That's fine. But it's just not make it funny.
Yeah.
There wasn't much in it at all that was funny.
No, they get everybody
There
out
wasn't
there.
much of anything in this movie that was funny.
Oh,
Just saying.
That's not even a pun.
no, that's why I didn't give him the wah-wah. I
Yeah.
just,
It's not even. That's not funny. Like
this
puns.
movie.
It's
Or
not
the
funny
end-
like this movie.
Like
yeah.
the end of this movie. Everyone has to get in riot gear. They end up deployed to the wrong place because of Lassard's dyslexia with numbers. They end up right in
Yes.
the middle of the thing. It's the most organized riot of all time.
Why is he
Yes,
showing
is.
up? Which cracks me up. That was a whole nother scene
Wanted
that
to
it wasn't
show up and
necessary.
check on you guys.
Yeah.
See how the riot's going.
Checking you out.
How's
Lassard
the
shows
riot
up.
going?
Lassard drives up like, I'd like to be in this scene also. Right?
Yeah, literally.
He just drove in. Someone give me a cop car.
right. Give me the script.
You guys I got to bill you extra, right? If I show up here.
That's right. And it's basically just all the characters running in different directions while this angry mob chases them all.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Again, to
Chaos.
very little comedic effect. We see Hightower is back being a florist. He's right in the middle of things. The two idiot cops get their gun taken by knit cap bad guy. Chased back into the Blue Oyster again. Hilarious. Leslie finds his old nemesis, the guys that dumped him off the bridge.
Yeah.
And beats the crap out of them. They get their comeuppance.
And they're
That was
moving
nice.
furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, you guys just stealing furniture. And they're like, well,
No, it's
That's
ours.
ours.
Put all that furniture back, but it's our furniture. Oh, sorry.
sorry.
All right,
Sorry.
well,
See ya.
But then the smile and the.
right. Ultimately, what ends up happening is Lieutenant Harris is kidnapped by knit cap bad guy. I don't know what else to call him.
Yeah.
Random psycho in a knit cap.
With 3 guns.
Because he's got the 2 guns from the racist cops.
Right.
And now he's got Lieutenant Harris's gun.
Yes.
Brings him up to the roof of this building. He's got Karen pinned down by gunfire down on the street.
Yeah.
Mahoney runs up and sees this happening. So he runs around the block to get up on the roof.
Yeah.
To
Meanwhile,
take the
Hooks
pressure
runs
off of
up a back door too,
up the stairs. He's trying to get the pressure off of Karen. So once he has the bad guy's attention, he yells, "Karen, get out of here!"
Yeah.
From the top of the building. She gets out of there. Again, it's not funny. It's just a bunch of moving pieces.
And then and then he stands there and he gets ready to get he's like,
now there's a standoff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
But he threatens to shoot Lieutenant, so Mahoney has to give up his gun.
Right.
And so now he's got Mahoney and Lieutenant Harris sat down up against the edge of the roof.
Yes.
And he's going to shoot one or both of them.
Both of them, right.
And this is when Hightower shows up looking like Black Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He's got the
And he's like, "What do you want, man?
I'm saying, dude.
What do you want, man? I want to see one of these pigs get it."
He looked fantastic.
Yeah.
And he basically plays it off. He's like, "I'm just here to watch you shoot these cops."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walks up behind him. He's like, "All right, which one should we shoot first?" He's like, "I think you should shoot Harris." Just
Which
to
is a great moment.
scare him a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he's
But
like, "I shouldn't have fired that guy."
Before he really can do anything, Hightower punches him into another part of the building.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Through the door.
Through the
down
door,
the
down
stairs.
Yeah.
All
Into
that
a cellar.
right where Hooks is there, coming up the stairs, finally finds her voice.
Yep.
Yep.
Freeze, dirtbag!
I love. Can I tell you, I love that.
That was
character.
great.
Hooks
Yeah.
is great. Every time, like earlier during the academy, he's like, "All right, a guy's sneaking out with a stereo.
Yeah.
What do you
you
say?
do?
Freeze dirtback."
Yeah.
And then she'd repeat it, and she'd repeat it
Even quieter.
even quieter. Freeze her bag.
Good, not even hair.
I don't know why. It's always funny to me. I know they do it for 7 straight movies. But
Right.
it's
I
so
thought,
funny.
yeah, her and Leslie were their stuff seemed really funny.
Yeah. And so this is her moment where she finally is like, "Freeze, dirtbag," and they get Knitcap bad guy. They get awards pinned. Hightower and Mahoney get awards afterwards. Like, we've never given our highest honor ever in the history of the police academy. So we just created the awards and then never handed them out to anyone
Yeah, like
they
the
just
show.
create 'em.
ever. Literally
This
ever.
show.
Exactly. That we hand them out every week.
Yeah, but they don't really physically get them.
No, that's
And
true.
you're right. That's true. And I mean, what else to say? It's basically the end of the movie, right?
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
oh, wait, this time Mahoney gets blown at the podium.
Ah.
Wouldn't it be so funny?
Okay, but that joke got put in because one of the producers literally did that.
Really?
Came in and was like, because of the first joke, wouldn't it be funny if at the end then it happened to him?
Didn't Lassard figured it out and got the prostitute back?
Right.
And yeah.
For real.
The movie was great. And it
Was it, though?
it ended with such a whimper. You want a movie to build and then bam, and then you like, oh man, remember the end? We can watch it. It's like looking forward to how it ends, and like it's going to be so great at the end. But this is a movie that it's like after the first hour, maybe I turn it off next time I watch it because it just went out with such a thud to me. I know
No, the ending was long to me. It was long to me. I'm
never
like,
really
I'm
thought it got
waiting. I'm
traction.
waiting for that next. Okay,
It couldn't crash for you because it never got liftoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm waiting for that next
They're still
gag
on the
or that
runway.
next joke. During
Yeah.
the riot or
Something.
even towards the end when they're getting their awards, there's nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, outside, we didn't have any jokes in the last 30 minutes, so let's put the prostitute back giving blowjobs in the podium.
Great.
See, some movies start or end with, "Hey, everybody, it's Smash Mouth."
Right.
Yeah.
This one ended with, "Hey, everybody, it's Rash Mouth."
Oh.
Literally, dude. I think that was her nickname. All right, look. If you like this stupid show and you're still listening to this episode even now, and
You're awesome.
and you're saying to yourself, "Man, I want more of this idiocy." Where could somebody find more of this idiocy, Doctor?
Oh, sorry, I'm not doctor.
Well, they can go to badmoviesrule.com,
They could go there.
Spotify,
Or-
Apple,
YouTube.
or YouTube, Facebook. What am I supposed to say?
I'm trying to give you the alley-oop for the Patreon, bro.
Oh, you can join our Patreon.
That's right. Yeah, buddy.
You can hear about squirrel nuts
And turtle sex.
and turtle sex.
And Rash Mouth.
Every time we record an
Sorry.
episode, we keep recording afterwards. We have a little bit of a wind down recording session. So there's bonus content that you can listen to on our Patreon. We also will do all brand new content. There's a new podcast launching on June 1st. Good Movies Rule, where we talk about movies that are good and don't qualify for this show.
Yeah.
That'll be exclusively on Patreon. And so you can sign up today. It's as little as $3. There's all kinds of different awards, or there's all kinds of different rewards. And people that are on there now are awesome people. They support our little independent show, and we very much appreciate it, you guys. So if you'd like, go to patreon.com, patreon.com/badmoviesrule. You guys want to give this movie some awards?
Absolutely.
I mean, if we have to,
let's do it.
We have to do some
then
awards.
let's do it.
We're obligated to do it.
All right.
And we do what we always do. We start with the award for some people think of it as just the best actor in the movie, and that's fine, but it's really for the most intense actor. It's the Will Patton Award for intensity.
You want a war? I'll give you a war!
I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night! If they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm gonna take every last one of you out. You make sure
They remember forever the night they played the Titans.
That's right. And some of you guys haven't watched Remember the Titans, and it shows, because I've had more than a few people tell me that they think Will Patton says bitch all night in that clip, but he's saying blitz, B-L-I-T-Z.
Yeah, it's a football movie,
It's a
people. Come
football
on.
movie.
Never seen it, sorry.
Watch Remember
You should watch
the
it. It's
Titans,
really
you
good.
guys.
Bitch all night. Like they're okay, sit there and complain all night, everybody.
No.
Why, are they on TikTok or something?
They must be.
He literally says line of scrimmage
They're
in
probably
the clip.
living in their basements talking about their moms.
That's right. So Will Patton,
Bitches all night.
Will Patton brings a certain level of intensity to every film he does. He's always intense. And so we give out this award in his name. Who was the most intense actor? The actor that, even though they were in Police Academy, was given 110% intensity. What do you think, Mueller?
I am going with Tackleberry, David Graff.
David Graff.
Yeah.
All right, man.
It was. I mean, to me, it was down for intensity purposes down to 2. Lieutenant Harrison, Tackleberry. I think I ultimately will go with Tackleberry on it.
All right, there you go. Mummer, what are you at on the Will Patton Award?
I'm going with Tackleberry as well.
Tackleberry gets
Yep.
a second vote.
Yes.
I also went with David Graff for my Will Patton nomination. So let's throw it over to the doctor.
I was going to say the lieutenant, but Tackleberry actually is who takes it. For
All
sure.
right, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mel, it's a formality at this point, but who you got as your nomination?
Do I even have to answer?
Well, I guess that means
For the record, yes.
For the
but-
record, Tackleberry.
all right.
There we go.
Let's do it. That means that David Graff. Well, we'll go to the Patreon. I forgot almost
We've
there.
got Patreon.
Oh.
We've got
All right.
David. Don't call me Paul Parkinson
All right.
coming in all the
Good old
way
DP.
from Australia. He says, I had several in the mix. Tackleberry, Sergeant Callahan, Lieutenant Harris, and Hightower. Narrowed it down to Sergeant Callahan. Leslie Easterbrook always gives 120%. So off the board from Tackleberry, but I don't think necessarily a wrong answer.
Not a bad
No,
choice.
not at all.
Not at
She
all.
was
Not
super
at all.
intense in this movie, but that
And
does
top heavy.
yes. And I've got strong feelings about that. Let's get into that for a second, because I don't think she is top heavy. I think it was clear to me from her
She
shirts
rips
that
her
she was
shirt off.
wearing that she was just wearing a giant bra
Yeah.
and probably isn't
That's what it looked
actually
like.
It was
packing anything.
stuffed.
Yeah, 100%.
Because
those were some odd-shaped
obviously
breasts.
in this movie,
Who
that
cares?
bra would have come off.
Who cares? It
right?
looks like George Martin's boobs were more real than hers were, and his wadded up tissue paper.
I'm just telling you. Leave the bra on.
I mean, Leslie's were
That's
definitely there.
the reason why there's supposed to be
leave
this
the
big
shirt on. I don't care.
It's supposed to be this big moment when she rips her shirt off.
Yeah.
And she's got the biggest bra
They're
on of all
it's
time.
bulletproof. It's a vest.
True.
Ultimately, David Graff is going to win. Congratulations to Tackleberry, the Will Patton Award winner. This might turn into another Michael Gross thing. I don't think we can just keep giving it to Tackleberry every frickin' movie. So we might have to just,
We'll have to see.
in the future, acknowledge that he was awesome and give it to somebody else.
He might be the chairman emeritus of
But what if there is
Police
nobody
Academy.
else?
Then we're going to have to dig deep, my man. Dig
man.
deep. All right, the next award that we give out is the award that you don't want to win. It's the Michael Dudikoff Trash Can Filled with Dirt.
Trash can, oh trash can, it's a trash can full of dirt. Yeah.
I will honor the code.
What was that last part? I will honor the what?
Honor the code.
Code?
That was Dudikoff from American
awesome.
Ninja 1. Yeah, we got that.
That's
We got a
awesome.
new jingle, guys.
Yeah,
That's
that's awesome.
fantastic.
That was awesome.
That is, I should say this now, since it's our first time playing it. My daughter, not the one that everybody knows, Grace is the one that everybody knows has been on the show, but my other daughter, Genevieve,
Who's now on the show?
who's now,
She's now on the show.
Technically.
forever on the show as a part of a jingle, is actually part of a national championship quartet.
Oh, yes.
Her and these 3 other gals, they're awesome. It's Megan, Maddie, Zoe, and Genevieve, went down to a national competition in Florida and took the whole thing home. The whole
Fantastic.
barbershop.
That's
Crushed it.
awesome. I see why from that jingle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we got the national champs to literally record us a jingle that we made up.
I'm surprised they want to be associated with this show.
Right?
This is the highest class
the
thing we've
shit.
ever done.
It really is.
And so I basically hummed it out for them. I said, this is what I'm thinking. And then Megan, who is part of the group and is so talented, literally was able to plot out the notes from my terrible recording over a phone of what I wanted. I just sung it.
Yeah.
And they busted that thing out in literal minutes, came in and recorded it.
It sounds like something from Animaniacs.
It really does.
It
yeah,
does,
right.
yeah.
It
That's
does.
why I love it, man. I'm going to play it one more time.
Trash can, oh trash can, it's a trash can full of dirt. Yeah.
I love how you can hear all 4 parts. That's fantastic,
that's
too.
awesome.
Yeah.
So who was the worst actor in Police Academy? All right, Mueller, who you got? Who had the acting range of a trash can full
So
of
I
dirt?
went with, I think he was credited as main bad guy, was his credit. Knit cap, criminal guy. He was awful. Just terrible.
He did kind of suck. It's not who I picked, but I don't disagree with you at all. He was bad. You know what, guys? I'm the bad guy.
I'm the bad
And
guy.
I got them guns.
Look at me. I stole these guns from the cop. Pew, pew.
You know what? You're right. We should shoot this little piggy first. I'm so bad.
Look at my knit cap.
That's right.
My mama knit this for me.
They don't hand these out to good guys.
That's right.
All the bad
I
guys
stood
wear
in line
knit
for
caps.
4 hours for this hat.
Right. They hand it out like, you a bad guy? Here's your hat.
Yeah.
They did it at the Blue Oyster bar.
It was next door.
It's next door, the bad guy hangout.
Yeah. That guy hang out.
All right, Kurt, who's your nomination?
I didn't have one, so I'm going with Ryan's.
Wait, you did? You came in here without
I liked everybody. There
Every
was
single-
nobody. But that's fantastic pick. I hated the bad guy. Anyone could have played that part.
Anybody could have, but he wasn't the worst. And I'm going to say something
Who's
that's
your
going to
worst?
piss people off,
You
but he
are.
was useless in this. It's Motormouth Jones is my trash can full of dirt winner. Look, Winslow is his name, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Michael Winslow, he was terrible in this movie. Other than his sound effects, and it's not his fault. I blame the producer, but he is worthless in this film.
No, I thought about giving it to him too.
And he will go.
I
And he will,
disagree.
Yeah.
He'll go on to do.
He was
great
able to
things.
get Mahoney out of there because he had to use his sound effects on the radio above,
Okay.
and then that helped the plot move along.
But he's not a good actor.
It was you didn't think it was hilarious when he was
No.
shaving his face and
I didn't.
and the weed whacker sound effects were going off.
It's just a
and
guy.
he couldn't hit his face.
But that's just him doing himself.
Right.
Like he's not acting. That's just what
I
he
wish
does.
I was
He
doing
was brought,
myself
he was
right
brought in. He didn't really have any lines or anything.
If he wasn't an actor, you would have seen him do all those things just as himself, as Michael Winslow. That's not acting.
But
That's
yeah,
like-
but now they need him for the rest of the movies.
Well,
they wrote
right.
him in.
But it's not
So
acting.
that you
But he's-
gotta give that to him.
He's better.
He
at-
was
don't.
so.
I
he
actually
was
don't
good
have to
enough.
give that to
he
him.
was good enough that the producers and everybody were like, you know what? Let's write him in the
But
rest
he
of the
was
movies.
better in the other movies because
he
he
could
actually
go-
had a part.
beep boop beep boop beep boop. That's not
Yes.
acting.
They could have played a
just him.
soundtrack for everything he did in this movie.
I agree.
They could have went
I'm
out
not,
and
like-
recorded the lawnmower
Shut up,
starting
Brian.
up.
I'm not going to give him this
Quit agreeing with James.
every time. I know I won't. There's a scene in an upcoming, I don't remember which one it was, where he does the bad dubbing effect from like a ninja movie, right? Where he's like, now you and I will finally fight to the death, and his mouth is moving differently. And like that stuff's, that's great. And he's great, better in the other movies. In this one, you could just tell he was shoehorned in and he was bad. All right, Doctor.
I'm gonna give it to I forget the guy's name, but it was the second like crony guy. Who,
Oh yeah,
one of the D-bag cops.
yeah,
The shorter one.
I would give it to both of them, but it was the shorter
D-bag
one.
Okay.
cop. Okay.
I think we'll just double nomination for
Yeah,
that one.
You just give them.
I didn't know if I could do that.
They're
a
almost
package deal.
inseparable.
Yeah, they just
Right?
sucked.
They're one character, essentially.
Chad.
All right, Mel, over at the kids' table, buddy. Michael Winslow?
No.
No surprise there.
So this was actually a tough one. I had it between the Chief Ernst,
Oh, okay.
and main bad guy.
Okay.
And I tell you what, if you're credited as main bad guy, screw you.
Yeah.
Are you going Nick Cap bad guy?
Yes,
All
Doug
right.
Lennox for main bad
All right,
guy.
Dave, now we have his
They
real
might as
name,
well
Doug
just put
Lennox.
trash can of dirt.
Was that his? That should have been his name, Nick Cap.
All right, we got David, don't call him Paul Parkinson, wrote in and actually gave it to Karen Thompson.
What?
Yeah. Why am I blanking on her name again all of a sudden?
Kim Cattrall.
Kim Cattrall.
Kim Cattrall. He gave it. He said she did nothing, had no real bearing on the movie, and
I
he's
could see
not
that.
wrong.
It's not wrong.
I thought she was too adorable.
I almost lost my bearings on this movie. What is he talking about? Kim Cattrall's hot.
Well, okay, but is that it mean she was a good
Yes,
actress?
in the 80s, that's what you did.
Maybe it's a polished trash can, okay?
She did serve as the eye candy for the movie, I guess.
It was a polished trash. Yeah, you're right. It was a polished trash
So
can.
then,
You polish a trash can, it's still a trash can.
with 3 votes, it's going to be Knit Cap bad guy. Doug Lennox will win the coveted trash can full of dirt award.
Keep it on the DL.
Oh my gosh! All right. It's time to give our top 3 performances. This is totally subjective. It doesn't matter how good or bad they were, but the 3 performances that you enjoyed the most. Who is your top 3? We'll start down the end with the mayor.
Oh, let's see. I went 3. I had Hightower.
Okay.
I mean, and to me, even in this movie, I don't think he had. They could have used him more. I think I could have used more Hightower.
I agree with that.
I know it's hard not to do the whole series when you do these rankings.
Right.
So again, it's just for this.
And I know it's just this movie, but I mean, even just in this movie, I would have loved more Hightower.
Yeah.
2, I'll go with Lassard.
Okay.
With I didn't write his name down.
Commandant Lassard.
Yeah, whoever the actor is, great.
Gaines.
I thought he played it well. You could tell he's trying to be his best Leslie Nielsen.
Right.
And then 1, I went with Steve Guttenberg as Mahoney.
What a comeback from Boyfriend School.
Right.
Where we all trash canned him.
Yes.
Number 1, you give
Number
Steve
1.
Guttenberg.
I enjoyed his performance. I like this. He's kind of tried to be too cool, kind of be a little douchey,
Yeah.
kind of, played it all. So I liked his performance.
Awesome. We might have to open that door in future episodes. Why don't we could you just open it for me now?
Yeah.
Just because it is
hot.
freaking
I'm
hot
getting-
in here.
Getting hot in the hot tub.
We'll just leave it open. I'm not worried about it. Okay, thanks. Dude, this is our first one we've done where it's been
Summer.
summer,
Yeah.
80
Yeah.
degrees outside.
It's hot.
If you ask to see my thighs right now, they're glistening.
Okay. Here we
But they're
go.
What's your
only
number?
So.
Good thing you're
Can I
over
see
in
your
the,
thighs?
in the
All right,
dark
Bummer.
over there.
Mummer, what's your top 3?
I'm going with number 3. I'm going with Harris.
Okay.
Yeah.
I enjoyed him as a bad guy.
G.W. Bailey?
Yes, sir. And then number 2, I'm going with Lassard.
Okay.
I feel like, this was before even Leslie Nielsen, wasn't it?
No, this is after Airplane.
Oh, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
I just was thinking it was before Naked Gun, which then he would have been typecasted as the cop type.
He had done Police Squad before.
Oh, you're right. I
the
forgot
TV
about
show,
Police
but
Squad.
not Naked Gun yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So yeah, I guess no, that's fine. I guess that would still be.
But
I was just wondering.
They also wrote it for him.
Oh, did they? And
Yeah.
he just dropped out, or what
He
happened?
just couldn't do it for whatever reason.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I still liked him.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the BJ joke. I just laughed so hard at that.
Yes.
And then I didn't want to do this, but it's going to Guttenberg,
Oh
man.
my gosh, you guys.
Thank you.
For Kurt Mummer, who has famously burned copies of The
Yes.
Boyfriend School,
2 of them.
Two
to
of them now.
come here and give Steve Guttenberg his number 1 spot,
Yes.
that is a momentous
This
thing.
movie doesn't flow without him.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I didn't give my number 1 spot. I mean, he did make my top 3. I put him in number 3 for me.
That's fine.
But I liked him. I thought Mahoney was good. I actually liked Leslie Easterbrook a lot as Callahan.
She was
Yes.
good too. Yeah.
Thought she was great. Put her at number 2. And number 1, I just think she's adorable. I gave it to Marion Ramsey, who played Hooks.
Yes.
She's my favorite. When she's driving around singing Santa Claus Coming to Town,
I love that.
I love this girl.
And she's just like out for a Sunday drive on the course, just Santa Claus coming to
and
town.
Harris is like rolling his eyes like, oh, jeez.
I enjoy the crap out of this character.
Yeah, it was fun.
So that was my number one. All right, who you got? Give me them top three.
So I had Hightower for number 3.
Bubba Smith.
Then I had what's her face? The one
Kim Cattrall?
Hooks.
Oh, Hooks. Okay,
Hooks for
Marion
number
Ramsey.
2.
Yeah.
And then number 1 was Mrs. Fackler. And can I just say,
Rest in peace, Mrs. Fackler.
I know I'm going against the grain with everybody else here, but I thought Guttenberg's performance sucked. Like donkey balls. I just did not. I was not impressed.
All right. How you doing?
Thank you.
I'm not shaking Ryan's hand, though. Screw that guy.
I'm not saying I would burn any copies. I'm just saying.
Not burn the copy worthy.
Oh, my
Have you
gosh.
seen Boyfriend School?
No.
Well.
I've seen like
Yes,
those-
unfortunately.
just
Trust
one
me,
part of
you
it.
watch that movie and put this one side by side,
You have a different
Gutenberg's coming out on
appreciation.
top.
No, I'm sure it's a better performance. I just,
Guttenberg acknowledged in an interview that this isn't even really a character.
yeah.
Like Mahoney's purpose is to make the jokes and get the jokes to work and
Yeah.
and all that.
But my problem is he did it tongue in cheek
Yeah.
because he's looking at the camera. He's doing the
He
whole.
does break the fourth wall a couple
He
of
was
times.
mugging a little too much. You'd
Yeah.
rather it be played straight.
I don't like when people mug.
Yeah.
And like Jimmy Fallon, for example, when he's like,
Right.
like it's just not fun.
You're not wrong. He did mug a lot.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, Mel, hit us with your top 3.
What you got for your favorite movie?
And you can't list everybody. I know you want everybody on there.
All right.
Number
G.W.
one,
Bailey
everybody.
G.W. Bailey, number 3.
for number 3.
Nice.
For Harris. Harris actually nailed
All
it.
right.
Good.
All right.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
I went with Mahoney, number 2.
All right.
All right.
Much better than Boyfriend School. And number 1, Tackleberry.
It's got to be Tackleberry,
There you go.
right?
Tackleberry.
Tackleberry was good. I don't know why I didn't have him on.
Here's the thing that's annoying about Tackleberry, which again, not his fault, script writers. You built up this character for the whole movie. It finally gets to the point where there's some action at the end. They don't show him once the entire riot. Not
No.
That's because he would have
Once.
kicked everybody.
He could have been on the roof with a sniper rifle or something, just picking fools
Yeah.
off.
They show him at the end. He comes in and
Yeah.
he's mad that he missed out on the action, and he's like butting his head on the
Yes.
yeah, on the car, on the hood.
car.
Yeah.
But where was he? They're showing Leslie having a scene in the alley. They're showing these two getting chased by these other guys. Like, why didn't Tackleberry get a little?
Hell, they showed Leslie just kicking ass
Yeah.
in the alley.
Yeah.
I mean, where's Tackleberry? I agree. Yeah.
I think he was standing in front of a podium.
Give him some,
Even if they had a bunch of bad guys and he was just beating them off one
something.
by one, that would have been
Something.
great.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
I was
was
I'm
holding
not
his
really into
ground.
those kind of movies.
pay money to
his
see
ground.
that.
He was at 8th and 14th where he was told to go, and he held his ground. It's
Probably what it was.
not
Like
his
a
fault
man.
the riot went somewhere else.
That's right.
He followed orders, man.
So here's where David Parkinson came in. He gave a number 3 to Commandant Lassard. George Gaines got us number 3 spot. He gave Tackleberry his number 2 spot, so they made
Nice.
David's top 3
Respectable.
also. And Lieutenant Harris, he gave him his number 1 spot. His number 1, G.W. Bailey. I love that. So I think across the board there was some commonality between top 3s. I do notice that as much crap as you all gave me, not one of you put Michael Winslow in your top 3, so kiss my ass on that one.
I didn't say it was the best, but I also didn't say it wasn't needed.
I was just waiting after all that to be like, oh, you must all have him in your top 3. But I just, I must have been asleep during that part.
If Bob was here, would he give Kim Cattrall his hot babe?
100%.
What is it called?
No, it probably would have been Marion.
The
Ramsey.
Rainn Wilson
It would have
Award.
been. It would have been.
That's the man one.
First of all, Rainn Wilson is Dwight from The Office.
Oh, I'm bad with names. You know this.
Rainn Wilson.
Rainn is the main character from Ninja Assassin.
Oh, gotcha.
That clearly would have been Bubba Smith, Hightower, and I'm assuming
Straight up.
it would have been
It would have made the Carrie Hauser
Marion.
Memorial
Sherilyn
Fenward.
created by Bob Hauser. Yeah,
I'm so confused.
that would have been Marion Ramsey for sure.
Yeah.
Hooks.
Yeah.
He would have went for
He would have went with Hooks. Knowing Bob.
I can see that.
Yeah. Or one of the girls at the fire in the.
Yeah.
Girl number 2.
Shower girl number 4.
Yeah.
That's right. The one with
one
the
in
rack.
shower
is
stall.
really-
Gratuitous
Four.
butt crack number 6.
Yeah.
You know what? Arnold would have been a great gratuitous butt crack for this
Yeah, he
movie.
would have been.
Jeez, wouldn't that have been great? Just panning from.
That's right. Why do all the girls
she's
just get
working
to be
out.
naked and I don't get to be naked? Look, I've got a fantastic body. Right?
Just cuts
The
him
cameras-
doing the famous pose.
The camera's on a nipple and then it zooms out and it's Arnold's.
And you're like, oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
My eyes.
Put it back.
What about Arnold as Callahan?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there
Right?
you go.
You could have put the same fake boobies on him.
Yeah.
Well, I would just say not even, just gender swap it. Just
my boobies,
make him,
Jack.
just make him there. Don't even say anything. He doesn't have any lines.
Who else wants to have another next goal?
That's right. Who's next? All right, now try and stab me.
With your fake knife.
That's right. He crushes. He kills the guy.
Rips
His
his arm
wang
off.
just comes out, smashes Barbara in the face.
Now you see, this person is dead, and this is not what we want here.
This is how you do it.
This is not it. Or he could have been Tackleberry
Could have been Tackleberry
for sure.
Or Harris.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Move it! Move it! Move it! Let's go!
Him walking around with the black shoe polish
That's
around
right.
his mouth.
Stop looking at me! Polish my knob! Do it!
I will punch you off this golf cart.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's go, dirt bags.
what about his knit cap guy?
That's what I was going to say. He could have
Yeah.
been Nick Cap guy.
Could you imagine?
The ending would have been much
100x
different.
that one. That
It would have been a 1v1 of him and Hightower, and it would have been about 15 minutes long of a
Yes.
fight.
Right.
Though.
Okay,
Make him as Tackleberry and then have Hightower and Tackleberry do a scene together.
Arnold is Lassard, okay? And it's the podium scene. Look at the slide! Ah! My penis!
imagine with the goldfish. I'm petting the goldfish and then crush.
He goes back into his office afterwards, like, I want Mahoney out of here. All right, ultimately, guys, we got to land on something here. What is going to be our final rating? Is it a good movie and the critics were wrong, everybody else is right, this is a good movie, or is it a bad movie with no redeeming qualities, or a bad movie that rules, meaning, yeah, it maybe sucked, but I enjoyed it? What do you guys think? Where do you come down on Police Academy 1984? Mayor?
This is the one where the dog goes and shits in the critic's house. It's a good movie.
A good movie.
It's a good movie.
Wow.
It's a good movie.
Wow.
Wow.
Even
didn't
with all the
see that
problems in the
coming.
last half an hour or so of the movie,
Needed
it's
the
still
Lazard.
enjoyable.
Are you all right?
I'm good.
It's-
I'm good. I long for the day that Ryan Mueller and I get back on the same page. We usually are in lockstep. But after Napoleon Dynamite and now Police Academy.
Well, maybe it's a little shaky. I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, it's a good movie. Now,
Okay. All right. I respect that.
James is so crestfallen right now.
I am. That's
Wow,
all right.
good word. Crestfallen.
he's breaking out the dictionary. He is
So-
a doctor after all, though.
So I've never seen this movie until this week. I watched it the first time, and at that moment, I rated it a bad movie that rules.
Okay.
I watched it 2 more times.
Oh, jeez.
I love this movie. I love this movie.
Oh, no. What's happening?
1984 Kurt loves this movie. It's a good movie for me. I'm sorry. I know you are just look so downtrodden right now, but guess what? I love it. It's a good movie.
Wow.
I find it funny and I can't wait for the next ones.
Wow.
Doc?
This is a bad movie. Just straight up. You know what, Mel?
Mel is just overshadowing.
Why don't you go sell some shoes?
He's
This movie has
towering
no
over.
He's
redeeming
high-towering over him.
qualities. I'm gonna be dead. If I die, it was Mel
You're
Vandy.
like the executive in the beginning, and he's Tackleberry. Right now.
Literally.
This is what's happening.
It's the sound of your doom.
You hear that? It's the chilling sound of your doom.
No,
love it.
this is a bad movie. There's no redeeming qualities.
Not even.
It's trash.
All right, just straight garbage.
This is just This is
You know
like
what's great? I can't wait for the rest of your takes on all the rest of them.
this is like when my son, when we forget his bottle in the back of the car, and then it sits in the car on like a 90-degree day, and it turns into cheese, and then there's water in the bottom, and then you crack that seal, and the whole house is gonna smell for like 2 days.
That's Police Academy.
Yeah.
So we got
I'm leaning into it.
dog shit theory, and then now we have Madela's baby bottle theory.
What kind of cheese is in the bottom of the bottle? No, I'm leaning into that. It's not
Hence,
that
the cheese
bad.
scale was born.
The problem I had with
The 14 cheese scale.
the problem I had with the movie, it's not
Definitely
that
a
bad.
Limburger.
But the problem is that it didn't feel like I felt like watching it. I'm like, what? Why am I spending my time watching this? What's the point of this?
I got you.
You know,
Yeah.
I was leaning in too hard for that. I'm sorry, Mel.
Don't
he's
back
crying
off
over
of
there.
it now.
He's crying. It sucks.
I'm sorry, but it sucked.
Mel, if after all this you tell me this is a bad movie, I'm going to come over there and smack you.
Ryan, you ignorant slut.
Well played. Well played. Dirty bottle cheese.
This is a great, amazing movie.
Wow.
I didn't see that.
Critics are stupid.
Oh my gosh.
Just like you.
Okay, guys. I'm sorry, I shouldn't cut you off. Is there any more that you'd like to add?
I didn't even have to watch this movie to talk about this today. I've seen this movie so many times.
The script is tattooed on his back.
I know, it's amazing.
Well,
His butt cheek, really. Got to spread him.
No, Police Academy 6 is on his butt.
We could show Police Academy 6 on his butt.
yeah.
So white. Good Lord.
No, this is a good movie. This is a big part of my childhood.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
And that's why I became a shoe salesman.
But there
you go.
you go.
There you go.
And you got to respect that.
Motivated
It's
you.
subjective.
Oh, man. Here it comes.
Here we go.
This to me, and I saw these movies back in the 80s, so it was a part of my childhood. I remember getting the
It overcomes Mel.
there's no reason to come over because we're good, buddy. Well, I tell you what, this sure is a great movie. Is he sitting back down?
He's still looking.
Is he gone?
He's gone. This movie sucks.
And you come across the movie channels and they'd be on all the time
yeah,
back
sure.
in the day.
Yeah.
Right.
I think 5 and 6 specifically were on a lot. I had to go back and watch the other ones.
TBS.
Just the time that it was.
Yep.
But I remember barely anything about this movie. It's probably, if I had rated it back then, I would have said it's a good movie. Now I'm going to say it's a bad movie that rules. I think the last third of it is too weak for me to be like, this is a good movie. Some of the comedy doesn't hit, but there is still a lot that does hit. I still laughed a bunch. There's likable characters. I'm not willing to say it's just a trash movie, although I certainly can understand someone that came in totally fresh on this
Right.
might think that. Some of it might be fueled by nostalgia, but ultimately I'm going to say it's a bad movie that rules.
I agree with you. So here's another take on it. So my wife, who's close to your age, is very much like, this is dog water. She,
Yeah.
I think it was just there was a big nostalgicness to it that maybe, Madela didn't have, or you know what I mean? So there's a certain point at which I think, again, that's why I stated 1984 Kurt loves this movie. So, there's a part of me that's like, if you're going to, I mean, her jaw dropped when a couple of the scenes happened.
Yeah.
She's like, that wouldn't happen today. I was like, no,
Right.
not at all. You can't get away with that. But that was what we loved about the 80s.
Yeah,
there wasn't a lot of PC world that we live in now today. True. So, it was just very interesting to me to hear her take on it and sort of go, I would never watch this movie. I would never seek out to watch this movie.
No, and if I'm just feeling this with nostalgia, I'd probably still say it's a good movie. I'm trying to be objective.
No, I understand.
Now with fresh eyes, the last half hour was so weak, it kind of talked me out of it being just a good movie. The other thing I thought about is like the type of movie that it is and the type of movies that came out at the time, right? You could say this is a broad comedy leaning towards maybe even a spoof
Sure.
to a certain extent.
I agree with that.
Right? And if that's the case, on its own, especially if you compare it to the other Police Academy movies, yeah, it's really good. But man, you hold this movie up to like Airplane,
Right.
and all of a sudden, this is a really bad movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Never
like it
thought
doesn't
about it
even
that way.
it doesn't even come close to Airplane.
I see what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Like that's an all-time classic.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to crap on it because I did enjoy it, the movie. I'm just trying to say why I'm putting it in the pecking order that I am.
No, I can understand that. I mean,
makes
if
sense?
you take a spoof like Spaceballs and you try and compare it to even or Blazing Saddles, like
Yeah.
they're amazing movies compared to
Right.
Police Academy.
And
so
Airplane had already been
I
out
would
by
say
then, yeah.
I agree with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I can respect that take because
Yeah.
you're not an idiot.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
What does Parkinson say?
speaking of, not speaking of idiots, I was going to say, speaking of idiots, what we're doing next week. But you're right. We got to give Parkinson's take
What's
on
his
this.
take on it?
So Dave said this movie, he said he forced his children to watch it with him.
How old are they?
I don't know how old his kids are.
man.
That's a good dad.
He forced them.
That's
So
a
this
good
movie
dad.
is chock full of 80s tropes, but it's a fun movie anyway. This, he said, it's a bad movie that rules. So that's where David came down on it. So praise for the movie, maybe nodding to some of the things that didn't age as well in it. But I don't, Dave, I want to know if your kids liked it. So you got to hit
Right.
me up and tell me what the kids thought and how old they are,
We'll
because
put on a mailbag.
7-year-old watching this is going to be a
Yeah,
lot
that's-
different than a
yeah.
17-year-old watching this. I'd be interested to see
That's
what
how
they
you
thought
create a
about it.
Bob Hauser.
That's right. So speaking of animals that are idiots, not Bob, I'm talking about Police Academy guys. Next week it's going to be a very special episode of Bad Movies Rule. It's going to be a momentous day because we'll be finally, after 2 years, bringing something to a close that really needs to be brought to a close. We're talking about American Ninja 4 next week.
The last one?
The last one, there's a fifth
We're
one.
going to do.
There's a fifth one that doesn't have anything to do. They just slap the name on it. It's not
Yeah.
the same
I see.
story.
Yeah.
This one's got Dudikoff and David Bradley. I think the guy starred in the last one, the third one. No Steve James at this point, but
So is slapping the name onto it like reverse cash grab?
it's kind of. It's like
Like, how do we lose money?
we have this martial arts movie. It's got this guy that was in American Ninja in it, but it's a different character.
He was like the janitor in the back.
Yeah, and so we're just going to throw American
That
Ninja
way we
5
can
on
do
it.
a spinoff.
Yeah. So we are finally going to close off the Dudikoff series of American Ninja 4.
So does that mean you're renaming the trash can?
Well, we'll see next week. I mean, it's on the table for sure. And I've got thoughts about it.
Is there a vote?
I got no.
I was wondering if the
no vote.
Patreons can maybe vote in on it.
No, because they're going
All
to
right.
pick something that I don't want.
Oh,
and
that's fair.
And that's not going to happen.
And you're the king. And
I'm not
it's
just going
good
to
to be
sit
the
here
king. Yeah.
and go, now for the next year and a half, I've got to call it the
Tom Arnold.
or whoever.
Yeah.
No offense to the Patreons, but no, this is one thing we're not going to be putting up to a vote to the Patreon.
They picked rubber.
They've shared.
Exactly.
Here's what I'll say, because I love those guys. They have shared their feelings. They have given their suggestions. Some have written in their awards and already renamed it themselves to the Tom Arnold Dumpster Fire. We've had some that have literally sent me messages going, cough, cough, James Corden, cough, cough, or Steven Seagal, or whatever. So they've given me their opinions. There will not be a vote. We first of all have to discuss how Dudikoff did in the fourth one,
Right.
And Mark Gusick has shared with me that it's maybe even a worse performance than the first American Ninja.
Oh,
so
geez.
we'll see.
boy.
Dudikoff could end up keeping it, for all I know. Who knows what's going to happen? I guess is all I'm trying to say. Nothing is going to be promised. It'll all be hashed out here at this table between the people that have been tortured by having to sit through all of these American Ninja movies, which is Mr. Mel Vandy, Clint Bush, and Joe Gorotowski. So we'll let the four of us hash that sucker out. But I will say I'm leaning towards taking Dudikoff off of it. I don't know.
see
If
that.
you guys have opinions, now's the time, because after next recording session, it's going to be over.
I say it should go to Tom Arnold because I had to watch 3/4 of that movie 6 times. My wife kept falling asleep. Oh,
Yeah.
Are we doing an after episode thing
Yes.
of where we just talk about the episode, or do we have a thing lined up?
No, we're just going to do our regular
Okay.
talk, so we'll get into that.
I'll save this. then
Okay,
for
save
later.
that for our Patreon after
tease.
our after show.
Join the Patreon.
Mel, you got an opinion on this? I know we're going to hash it out next week.
Tom Arnold all the way.
Yeah,
thank
why
you.
don't I even ask? I
See,
know you've
I'm
been
not
all
that
over
much
the
of an
Tom Arnold
idiot.
thing. Mummer, what are you thinking about with the trash
He's
can?
thinking about
I was thinking about
boobs.
sandwiches.
I was close.
You guys got me all hungry for lunch. Talking about all those mouse traps and stuff in the sandwich bag.
That was a long time ago.
yeah.
You've been
That's
What
all
are we
he's
talking
hungry
about?
the
You're
whole
talking
time.
about naming the trash can?
Yeah, you got an
Yeah.
opinion on the trash can?
I mean, Tom Arnold makes sense.
yeah.
Just because I don't know any movie other than that one with Arnold Schwarzenegger carrying him in it
Yeah.
that he was good at.
That's true.
But I mean, Dudikoff, I mean, you could literally just keep it the Dudikoff trash
Yeah.
can full of bad actors. And then that way it's just like he is the strong enough guy to hold all these crappy acting awards
What a nice way to
inside the
paint
trash
It's
can.
really a compliment.
It's really a good honor when you
that
think
way,
about it.
that
Yeah.
way we leave his beautiful face on this trash
Well,
can.
the nice
right
thing
here.
is that his face is cut off and isn't even seen in the shot anyway. So no one would
we don't even
know.
have to get a new sticker made.
We don't even need a new sticker.
man. Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
Well, there you go.
Then Tom Arnold it is.
Mueller, you got a strong feeling about this?
Yeah, I think it's time.
Yeah.
Tom Arnold was way worse in McHale's Navy. That just
So you're all on Tom
all-time
Arnold. You see,
terrible. But I could see. I'll say this. I could see
Open to
James
other
Corden.
suggestions.
Right.
I've
That's a
never seen
decent
him be good in
suggestion.
anything.
James, what's
He's
your
not even funny.
But the reason I wouldn't lean towards Corden is just because he hasn't been on the show in anything.
well, that's fair.
We're about to, and that's why I don't want to jump the gun, because I'm really leaning towards Steven Seagal. And I know there's lots of people that love his movies. He's a terrible actor.
Agreed.
Oh, he is terrible.
yeah?
Garbage. Especially compared, a charismaless, just black hole of suck. Okay, from an acting standpoint. Yeah, he can karate chop.
He moved
okay?
to Russia too.
Right. And there's that. And we're about to do Under Siege 2 coming up in a couple weeks, which by all accounts might be one of his worst performances. He literally does movies now where he sits in a chair and never gets up he makes them shoot around him sitting in a chair the whole movie.
That's what we do for 2 hours a week.
And but we're also not filming action sequences and things like that. All that is one piece of evidence that makes me say we should do Steven Seagal. The other thing is he's also just a trash human
Yeah.
that is a piece of crap that sexually assaults women and makes up lies and bullcrap about his life in order to,
Right.
Yeah.
put himself over on other people. And that's another reason why I feel bad that Dudikoff's on here, because he's a good dude who,
Dudikoff.
he had a really wooden performance, and we had our fun, 100 episodes worth of fun
Right.
with having Dudikoff on here. But I wouldn't blink for a second or give a crap if Steven Seagal is upset about him being on this trash.
I can see that.
Well, and I can
I
say
see that.
Tom Arnold's been funny once because he did marry Roseanne. So at some point he was.
And as bad as Tom Arnold is, he is by all accounts a decent dude and
Right.
funny enough guy.
He seems like
Yes.
he's probably
So,
a nice guy.
yeah.
So
Then you won me over.
You sold me.
I sold.
So let's call it the Seagull trash can full of war.
That's what I'm
down.
hoping to come out of this with Steven Seagal as the
Can you use this picture though, where he's like fat and bloated?
no. So he'll probably
Or would we
be a
get
big enough
sued for-
douchebag that he would file an injunction or something if they
Yeah.
ever found out about it.
We have his
Defamation.
picture
So what
of
we'd
it.
have to do is draw a cartoon or something of a fat and call it fat martial arts man, not Steven Seagal. We could say his
no,
name.
hey.
We could name the trash can.
Let's
after
just.
What if we
I'm going to
just-
draw it as a caricature, but it's going to be an actual seagull.
A fat seagull.
What if we just say
That
it's
slightly
the
resembles.
What if we say it's just the definitely not Steven Seagal trash can?
Yeah, there you go.
And then it's like,
There
it's
you
definitely
go.
not
This
him.
is definitely not.
I don't know
the
what you're
trash
talking about.
can. This is
right.
not the Steven Seagal.
This is a different douchebag
trash
with a
can
ponytail.
full of-
Yeah. Pay no attention to the seagull with a ponytail that looks somewhat like Steven Seagal. It's definitely not him.
Steven the Seagull
So
circling around the dumpster
Yeah.
of trash.
Anyway, tune in the next couple of weeks, and the trash can saga will ultimately reach a conclusion, and we'll figure it out. I mean, I know what I'd like to see happen, but you never can tell what will come up over the next couple of weeks as we do American Ninja and Under Siege 2
Yeah.
and see how it all shakes
See what
out.
happens.
And, we'll see. In the meantime, we're just appreciative that you guys are here for the journey and that you've been listening and you're still here listening even after all this talk about police academies and Steven Seagals and all that. We appreciate you guys, and just join us next week when we dive into the final chapter of the American Ninja Warrior saga. In the meantime, on behalf of Mel Vandy and Ryan Madela and sorry, I screwed that up. And Ryan Mueller, Kurt Mummer, I'm James Hauser. Thank you for listening. He was in the boyfriend school, but now he's the best now.
He's much cooler now.
Kurt gave him number 1.
There's my Steven Seagal drawing.
Caw.
Wow.
It's got a ponytail and everything.
Nice.
Incredible.
Perfection.
There we go. Book it.
Steven Seagal sucks.